People put their trust in you. They want a quality window at a price they can afford. Pella has a line of windows perfect for every home, every pocketbook. That's why I tell people to buy Pella. You can afford the best.
How about some good news for a change? Well, 4 of the top 10 models in J.D. Power and Associates initial quality study are Toyotas. It gets better. It's year-end clearance at your Toyota dealers. So you can get a new Tercel best model in its price class for initial quality for a price even better than its already low price. Or how about another leader? The sporty Paseo, an exciting way to get an exciting deal. Come to your Toyota dealer and see all the good news. But hurry, good news travels fast.
How do you order a Miller Genuine Draft Light, the cold-filtered light with smooth draft taste, in a pool hall? MGD Light? Say MGD Light and say no more. Introducing the 1993 Miller Genuine Draft Light Indy car. This year, say MGD Light and say no more.
Boy, am I hungry.
I've got just the stuff for you. Perkins' new stuffed pita sandwiches. You can have a chicken fajita stuffed pita sandwich with grilled chicken, cheese, and salsa.
I'm really hungry.
And fries and slaw. Or a grilled steak stuffed pita with hollandaise.
Steak, yes.
Guess you really like that steak stuffed pita. How about some pie?
I'm stuffed. What kind?
New stuffed pita sandwiches. Perkins, breakfast, dinner, and everything in between.
When it comes to new windows, make no mistake. Trust Pella and a certified Pella contractor.
At some point in our lives, we've all had roommates who, for one reason or another, annoyed us just a bit. I had a guy in college who always raided my care packages from my mom, then left the crumbs all over the furniture and used to drive me nuts. Things like that are nothing new for the Packers who pair up during training camp at St. Norbert College in De Pere. As I found out, they all have their pet peeves about their partner back at St. Norbert. During training camp, a roommate is about as close to family as a Packer player gets. Like any other family, there are some things that bug them. Take James Campen and Leroy Butler, for example. They have to put up with snoring from their roommates at night.
Rich Moran. The other night he was sleeping, he woke me up out of a dead sleep, and he was snoring so bad. And I yelled his name for at least 5 minutes. No kidding. This is serious. And I started then crumpling up newspaper and throwing it at him.
Well, Terrell's one of our best friends. The thing that really drives me nuts about him is his snoring at night. If he could, I sound like about 5 or 6 hogs just getting together and having a sleep fest. And I just throw shoes, and he wake up in the next morning, see shoes and shirts, and I mean, toothbrushes over there next to me. How just get over? I'm throwing it at you so you can wake up so I can get some sleep.
Bill Moss and John Stevens also find it hard to get any sleep at night. Their roommates can't stop talking.
It's John Yurkovich. And he talks about the Croatian situation all day long and all night. He thinks he's over there. I said, we're in America, John. I got to keep reminding him.
Marcus Wilson. The guy never, he talks. He just talks and talks and talks about everything. Some other guys are going, by the time this camp's over, you're going to be telling guys who don't say boo, man, you talk too much.
Brett Favre is always surrounded by people during the day, but at night he sometimes feels very lonely because of his roommate, Frank Winters.
Every time I come in the room, he's sleeping, so I never get a chance to talk to him. You know, it's kind of being in a room by yourself. You know, I never get a chance to talk to the poor guy, but maybe I'll get somebody who's talkative one day.
Mark Clayton came to Green Bay from Miami. Imagine how he feels about rooming with Sterling Sharp.
Sterling keeps the room so cold that you can hang meat up in the room. And the first night he stayed, the room was so cold. And I told him that was the first time that the air conditioner had even been on. And he said, I woke up and I was balled up over there. It took me about 3 hours to unthaw when I woke up. So that night he went home and got me a comforter.
When it comes to roommates, some of the newest Packers are real cards.
Mike Pryor's my roommate. If I could change anything, He's teaching me all these card games, but I know he cheats me, and I'm not sure how he's doing it yet because I don't know the rules well enough. But it always seems like I'm ahead, and then we add the score up, I'm behind by like 50 or 100 points. So I don't know how that's worked out yet. You're going to have to ask him the question. And he seems so honest, too, that's the other thing. But I know he's getting me. Somehow along the line, he's getting me.
Hey, Caddy's starting to pick up the game. I'd rather get some other people in there. We can play some dirty clubs or things, but that's what we did in the past. But, you know, he's come a long way. He's not the, you know, the best card player right now, but we're working on him.
If you've ever wondered what makes Reggie White so good, well, part of the credit could go to his roommate, Harry Goldberg.
He wants to work on pass sets in the room. I don't like doing that. But other than that, you know, Harry's been real cool.
The rooms aren't big enough, are
No,
they?
it's not big enough.
Terrell Buckley and Leroy Butler were roommates back at Florida State. They've continued that tradition here in Green Bay. But that's not to say that Buckley thinks Butler is a perfect roommate.
He goes to sleep after me. And as I'm trying to go to sleep, he turns the TV up, and the TV is only 10 feet, you know, away from him, and he's like he's deaf. You know, he has the TV wide. I'm like, hey, man, could you turn down the TV a little bit? Daddy trying to get some sleep over here. That's about the only thing.
No wonder why the players are always excited about breaking training camp. In just a few minutes, the Packers will be kicking it off against the Saints at Camp Randall. We'll have some final words about that matchup after this.
This is my baby. I like to tune her myself because then I know the job's done right. People who know that ask my advice on taking care of their cars, and I give them two names, Mills Fleet Farm and Fram. Fleet Farm has a huge selection of quality Fram products, oil and air filters, PCV valves, transmission and fuel filters, and they're always priced right, so you don't have to wait for a sale. So treat your baby right. Use quality Fram products from Mills Fleet Farm.
It's been a record-breaking year at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. So how should we bring it to a close? With a record-breaking clearance. Enjoy a selection of Concords, Automobile Magazine's Automobile of the Year, and remarkable savings on all these 93 cars and minivans. Choose Plymouth Voyager or Grand Voyager. Get options like leather seating, anti-lock brakes, and child seat, and save thousands. The record-breaking clearance. Now at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
The cheeseburgers I'm grilling are 100% pure beef. The only thing that could be better than one of these is two of them. Hardee's Double Cheeseburger.
Right now, Hardee's Double Cheeseburgers are just 99 cents. Why, for just 99 cents, who wouldn't make it a double?
Are you ready for some real food? Hardee's. If your need is furniture, you must stop at Van Vrede's. You'll find a huge selection of quality furniture on sale, including FlexSteel, at the lowest prices of the year. And at Van Vrede's, you'll pay a big 0% interest with no down payment and no payments till February of next year. Imagine choosing from a huge selection of quality furniture, including FlexSteel, and not paying a penny till February of next year. 0% interest with no down payment and no payments till February of next year. Only at Van Brede Furniture, Appleton and Green Bay.
New Orleans is a team coming off a 12-4 season, and the Saints so far this preseason are 2-0. Now, Coach Mike Holmgren knows a good showing this afternoon in Madison would go a long way in making Packer fans feel good about their team once again.
I wish I could say that any of these preseason games are getting easier, but this group that's coming in is an outstanding football team. I'm pretty familiar with them, having gone against them twice for the last 6-7 years. They're very physical. They're well coached. Jim Moore and his staff do a wonderful job, and it'll be another great test for our players, our young players, and if we can hang in there against the Saints, we have to feel pretty good about what we're doing.
The Packer offense better be hitting on all 8 cylinders. The Saints have led the league in scoring defense the past 2 seasons. The last team to do that, the Chicago Bears in 1985 and 86. Now sit back and enjoy the Packers and the Saints from Camp Randall in Madison.
Packer Pregame 93, a special sports presentation brought to you by Toyota. I love what you do for me. See your Wisconsin Toyota dealers. The cold filtered light with smooth draft taste. MGT Light. Say no more. And by Verhalen Incorporated, the Pella Window Store.
Packer Pregame 93 is brought to you in part by Van Breedy's Appliances, Electronics, and Furniture with locations in Appleton, Little Chute, and Green Bay, your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers, and by Hardee's. Are you ready for some real food?
Around here, folks believe in making things last. Relationships, neighborhoods, and the family automobile. And who wouldn't want to see that 100,000-mile mark? So it's no wonder so many rely on their neighborhood 76 station. Here you'll find quality gasolines and services to help keep your car humming along. We can't promise you'll see that 100,000-mile mark, but we're glad to help you try. 76. Go with the spirit.
It ends soon. You've got just 2 more days to get low 2.9 financing on Ford Escort. That's right. For a limited time, America's best-selling small cars got low 2.9% factory financing for 48 months. Choose the 3-door, 4-door, 5-door, wagon, or Sporty Escort GT and get low 2.9% APR financing for 48 months. You won't find a better value anywhere, and you won't find it after Monday. It's 2.9% factory financing on Ford Escort. See your local Ford dealer today.
Watch The Mike Holmgren Show, Monday night at 6:30 on TV2.
The frustrations of an 0-2 start to the preseason for Coach Mike Holmgren were quite evident last week. It's a 17-yard touchdown, and it's 16-0 Kansas City. The Kansas City Chiefs controlled both sides of the line of scrimmage in slamming the uninspired Packers 29-21 at County Stadium. One bright spot, the play of rookie quarterback Mark Brunell, who revived the Packers' dormant offense.
I've been very unhappy with the type of errors we're making, the type of mistakes we're making. We have to start correcting those and eliminate those prior to our first regular season game.
This afternoon, we greet you from Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, where the 2-0 Saints take on the 0-2 Green Bay Packers. Hello again, everyone. Bill Jarts and John Anderson back with you for week number 3 here in the Packer preseason. And, John, the big question is, has Coach Holmgren gotten over that disappointment of last week's 29-21 loss to the Chiefs?
He seemed to yesterday when we spoke with him. You know, he exploded on this team last week following their performance and made them run wind sprints for the first time in practice. They haven't done that all season long. So I think the message is clear. This team has to start better than it did a week ago.
The Packers do not face a mandatory cutdown until August 24th, but there will be some folks saying goodbye this week.
Exactly. This will be the week for some players to get their last look. Mike just needs to get a look at some of the positions where there are too many bodies. So there's going to be some cutdowns after today's performance. If players get that opportunity out there, they've got to make the most of it, because this could be the last day in a Packer uniform for some of them.
Across the way, the New Orleans Saints, not too many holes over there to fill.
No, really not. At 12-4 last year, they were in the playoffs for the 3rd straight time, and when you go like that throughout the course of a season, you don't need to get in the free agent market all that much.
Okay, John, the Saints against the Packers. It's on your way next on the Packer Preseason Network.
It ends soon. You've got just 2 more days to get low 2.9 financing on Ford Escort. That's right. For a limited time, America's best-selling small cars got low 2.9% factory financing for 48 months. Choose the 3-door, 4-door, 5-door, wagon, or Sporty Escort GT and get low 2.9% APR financing for 48 months. You won't find a better value anywhere, and you won't find it after Monday. It's 2.9% factory financing on Ford Escort. See your local Ford dealer today.
They look like angels playing there together. It's an unpredictable world, and I always wonder, what if something happened? Tomorrow they'll be driving 12 hours to visit their grandma. I had a cellular phone installed in the car. Affordable personal communications from Cellulink. I just want them to be safe.
Kids want their own look. It's part of who they are. And for kids, clothes are just the beginning. To them, book bags and things aren't a necessity. They're style.
Fortunately, there's a place that not only has the looks, it has everything to complete the look. All at prices that look pretty good, too. That place is Shopko. Discover for yourself.
It's the Rumble for the recipe.
You and me, Fiedler. Winner gets the Colonel's secret.
Beeman distracts Foreman with KFC's legendary freshly baked biscuits, new mashed potatoes, and the Colonel's famous coleslaw.
Right now, get a dinner with all the fixins at KFC for just $9.99. That's 9 pieces of original recipe or extra tasty crispy chicken, large mashed potatoes with gravy, large coleslaw, and 4 biscuits for just $9.99. KFC is Green Bay's favorite chicken.
I want these recipes, too.
Green Bay Packer football, brought to you by Toyota. I love what you do for me. See your Wisconsin Toyota dealers. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Get out of the old. Get into the cold. Verhalen Incorporated. The Pella Window Store. The Wisconsin Perkins Family Restaurants and Bakeries, serving breakfast, dinner, and everything in between. Wausau Insurance, the business insurance professionals, specializing in managed care programs for workers' compensation and group health. Introducing First Down, the new instant scratch game from the Wisconsin Lottery, on sale now. Napa Auto Parts, lower price, expert advice. And by Citgo, fly with the new Superpower.
And it's sort of New Orleans-style weather down here, John. A little humid. The highs in the, low 80s, I guess?
Yeah, it feels rather humid. Unlike a week ago when we had almost ideal temperatures at County Stadium, this is more typical of August weather, and it's going to be a matter of wills out there as to who can last in this kind of heat and humidity, I think.
Obviously, the big fellows pay the biggest price.
Well, they do, and especially the lines where they're banged up a little bit. The Packers have a couple linemen who are going to be playing much of that game, and we'll have to see if this heat and humidity takes its toll over the long run today.
Nice crowd expected to be on hand here at Camp Randall Stadium. It's about 60,000 expected to be here. The all-time record for a Packer game down here in their first year back in '86. Capacity crowd here is 77,745. That first game they had almost 74,000 on hand.
Exactly.
Chris Jackie will tee it up as the Saints have won the toss. And well, you look at about tough tests. You talk about tough tests last week. The Chiefs, a playoff contender this week one more time.
This is no slouch. This New Orleans Saints team, a very, very fine team. We mentioned earlier they went 12-4 last year. They've been in the playoffs 3 straight years. This is an experienced club, a veteran club. They've won their first 2 preseason games. They're coming into this game with a lot of confidence and a lot of momentum even from last year.
You're going to see a number of different marks down on the field. The field is going to look like somebody went wild with a paint can down here. We'll get to more on that in the ball game. But right now, Jackie has it teed up. We're ready for action. Back deep to receive for the Saints. Number 32 is Sean Dunbar, and 24 is Derek Brown. We're underway from Camp Randall. From the 2, it's Dunbar. Gets up to the 20-yard line, and that's all. Nice special teams play there by one of the Packers. That was number 55, Brett Collins, a 17-yard return, and the Saints go 1st and 10 from there.
Well, I think what Mike Holmgren is going to be most interested in here, we'll take a look at the Saint backfield. Mike Buck is going to get his first start. The young, talented first-year man, Vaughn Dunbar, will start at running back with Brad Muster, the man who they got from the Bears. Eric Martin, Quinn Early, and Frank Wainwright will be the receivers.
Up front, it's Cooper, Port, Hilgenberg, Kennard, and Rofe. William Rofe as the number 1 pick. He no longer wants to be called Willie. Call him William. He's going to be matched up against Reggie. They'll try the middle of the running attack, and not a whole lot doing right there. Buster there carrying for the Saints, former Chicago Bear.
I think as important as it is to win this game, it's going to be very important to see the emotional state of this Packer team. They were very flat last week. The defense got pushed down the field the first possession. It'll be interesting to see how they come out and respond with this first series.
From the 23, just underway from Camp Randall Stadium. Buck at quarterback. Puts it out. Almost complete. 89, the intended receiver, that's Quinn Early, and he just had the ball slip out of his hands, John.
Yeah, probably should have had it. It was there a little bit thrown behind him, but a catchable ball nonetheless. Take a look at the Packers off a defensive line. Reggie White, of course, Billy Moss, and Sean Patterson getting that first start, even though Matt Brock is in camp.
The linebackers are Jeff Rady, Brian Noble, George Coons, and Bryce Popp, Mr. Everything Anywhere on the field. The secondary. The corners are Buckley and Mitchell. The safeties, Leroy Butler and Mike Pryor. 4 wide receivers now for the Saints. 3rd and 7 from the 23. Buck with plenty of time. Almost picked off. Terrell Buckley had it in his hands at the 42 and dropped the ball.
And how quickly this crowd is to turn on Terrell Buckley. He should have had the ball, but obviously he didn't. And, boy, right away they're willing to get out the booze on him. Let's take a look from the end zone here. Mike Buck goes straight back. I don't know if there was a mix-up or whatnot, if it was just a very poorly thrown ball, but you're going to see it hits Terrell Buckley just where you want it to. Terrell will look like he was a little bit surprised. Should have had that interception.
Tommy Barnhart now on to punt for the Saints. Back deep to receive it is Robert Brooks. Brooks calls for a fair catch at about the 41-yard line. Excellent field position for Green Bay right there. A 36-yard punt by Tommy Barnhart, the incumbent punter for the Saints. And now we'll get the first look at the Green Bay offense. And once again, it's going to be Brett Favre at quarterback. And John, I know you had a chance, we both had a chance to visit with Coach Holmgren. The first series, very, very critical for Brett Favre and the offense.
He wants these guys coming out of the blocks. We'll take a look at the offensive backs and receivers. Brett Favre, of course, with the start. John Stevens and Bennett in the backfield. Mark Clayton getting his first start of the preseason. Sanjay Beach filling in for Sterling Sharp. There we go.
Cecil Gray, Moran, Winters, Galbraith, and Sims up front in that banged-up front. They're getting some bodies back, though. That's very critical right now out of split backs. Favre with play action and a wobbling pass that's picked off. Vaughn Johnson gets the interception, and not the start Mike Holmgren wanted to have.
Not at all. He threw that right at Vaughn Johnson. Probably wasn't looking at him. Looked at the receiver. We'll take one look at it from behind Brett. You're going to see what he saw here. Drops straight back, throws to his left. Vaughn Johnson just right there, though. Really a nice play from his standpoint, but not a well-thrown ball at all. He takes it back, and this is not the kind of start that the Packers were hoping to get, especially offensively.
Second interception of the preseason for Brett Favre. And the Saints now with excellent field position at the Green Bay 30-yard line. And again, it's Buck at quarterback. Packers with 4 down linemen, going to bring some heat in. Mike Buck. Buck with a very strong arm, and he completes it over here left side. That's Brad Mustard. And that's one thing they like about Mustard over the last kid, Ironhead Hayward. Mustard, they think, is just a little more versatile, perhaps.
Yeah, he can catch the ball coming out of the backfield like that. You saw it, obviously, if you were watching the Packers against the Bears over the last couple of years. He's done that very, very well over his career, and he provides a little more versatility than old Ironhead did when he was in the backfield for the Saints.
2nd and 2 from the 22, 13:49 to go, first quarter of play. Fake to Dunbar. Now feeling some heat from Pop. He unloads it. One of his tight ends, 87, is Frank Wainwright. Incomplete, however.
Let's take a look at Reggie White here. This is an interesting matchup today. You've got perhaps the best defensive end in the league going against the rookie, #1 pick, William Rope. This time Reggie throws him aside a little bit, but pretty nice job that time by William Rope. I think you have to give him the plus on that play.
And I'll tell you what, Reggie White's saying he respects him as a player, but he's kind of licking his chops. He's playing against a rookie. But right there, maybe Reggie's got to turn up the intensity just a touch. 3rd and 2 now from the 22. Still scoreless from Camp Randall Stadium. We want to welcome you on an absolutely gorgeous afternoon. A little steamy maybe, but New Orleans type weather. The single setback is Dunbar, and he gets the call, runs into Jeff Brady, crosses the first down marker, and the Saints will move the chains one more time.
That was all a matter of leverage that time. Vaughn Dunbar had a little bit of a run, being 6 or 7 yards deep in the backfield. We'll take a look at the hit that he puts on here, Jeff Brady. But watch the pad level here. Jeff Brady's going to hit him, but he's going to have his helmet above that of Vaughn Dunbar. Vaughn Dunbar able to drag him for the first down.
Hilgenberg out there in front leading the charge, and boy, what a combination for here. It's one of the Packers, that is Reggie White, injured right now. And ooh, can you feel the pace of the pulse quicken just a bit here from Camp Randall Stadium. We'll check in on Reggie when we come back. It's still scoreless between the Saints and the Packers with 13:20 to go, first quarter of play.
Charlie, back already?
Yeah, I'm too mean to keep down.
All right. Morning, Charlie.
Morning, Mr. Bradley.
Bob.
Bob.
You really had us scared, you know.
Yeah. Would you believe I missed this?
Yeah, I would.
Walsall rehabilitation programs for workers' compensation and group health lessen the pain for everyone.
The beauty, the craftsmanship, the affordability, all add up to real value, and all belong to Pella Windows. A lot of people think they can't afford Pella windows and doors, Well, think again. With 3 distinct lines, Pella has a window to fit every design at a price that fits into every budget. With value like that, you can't afford not to use Pella.
Conger Industries, your one-source center for materials handling equipment, parts, and service, and your authorized dealer for Toyota and other forklift trucks. For those downtimes, Conger provides the right parts for every system of your lift truck on time. And our service department can recondition or rebuild your entire lift truck or any of its systems. What's more, we have a huge selection of tires, and our fully equipped service trucks provide on-site maintenance. For all your materials handling needs, come to the lift truck specialists. Conger Industries, we can handle it.
Here it is. Here's the play in which Reggie White was hurt.
Oh, that looked ugly. Frank Wainwright with a cut block. Not really an illegal block. He just went down low. Now watch Reggie White here. He gets up. He's walking off fine, but he goes after Frank Wainwright. Tells him, look, son, I don't appreciate going down on my knees like that in this preseason game. Really, I don't think that was Frank Wainwright's fault. He's got a cut-off block to do, and that was his responsibility.
1st and 10 now from the 20. The clock rolling. We're at the 13-minute mark of the first quarter. No penalty flag. Buck flares it out here to Dunbar with some running room. Cuts it back inside the 10-yard line. Leroy Butler there to bring him down at the 8-yard line. Pretty decent play there by Dunbar.
Nice open field move that time. I think he faked out Jeff Brady, picked up 12 yards. New Orleans with a hurry-up offense here. We haven't seen this, and we don't really expect this out of them. They're usually a grinded-out kind of a offensive attack.
1st and goal now from the, let's call it, 8-yard line. You see Dunbar putting a move on Brady. Buck with a single setback again. That's Dunbar through the middle and nobody there. No penalties on that play. A little confusion there, perhaps. Intended for the tight end, Frank Wainwright. And Reggie White is checking back in. Listen to the applause.
Yeah, that's certainly a good sign to see. I think everybody had their breath stopped there for a minute when he was down on the ground. We should mention, Bill, Reggie called a team meeting this last week. He said that we want to talk about this thing, about the performance of this team. So he asked the coaches to leave the meeting. He addressed the team. A couple other players got up and spoke for about 5 minutes. Obviously about the performance the week before. We'll have to see if there's any carryover in today's game.
And when Reggie talks, people listen.
A whole lot of folks listen.
3rd and 8 now. 12:28 to go, first quarter of play. And Mike Buck says, let's get some time out here and think this one over. So the youngster with the best arm of the 3 quarterbacks in camp for the Saints right now wants to go over and maybe adjust things mentally as he goes over and visits with the New Orleans Saints. Again, we're still scoreless here, the Packers and the Saints. And yes, Reggie White is fine and dandy. So rest assured, we're coming back after this.
This is the land for GMC. This is the shade of things to be.
And now is the time to save on 93 GMC trucks. Choose from a huge selection of Sonoma pickups or get up to $1,000 cash back on any new 93 2 or 4-door Jimmy or Safari van. Great trucks, a great time to buy.
This is the land for GMC.
See your GMC truck professionals. Algoma Motors, Colin Sorrentino, Fox Valley Truck, Petrosky, Neville Motors, Bergstrom, Vanda High Brantmeyer, Holiday, or see your nearest GMC truck professional.
This is the land for GMC. This is the land for GMC.
At Van Bridy's, our crafty buyers have negotiated incredible deals from our vendors. And you'll find great buys on furniture, electronics, and appliances like this caloric self-cleaning range with timer control, only $368. Or this Magic Chef dehumidifier, only $98. And this Kelvinator washer and dryer, complete with 25-year tub warranty, are only $498 for the pair. But these deals won't last long, so hurry to the special purchase sale, only at Van Bridy's, Apple and Little Chute, Green Bay.
Have you ever wished for a new Packers show that would make you sit up and beg for more? Start begging. Details are coming up Friday during the Packer-Patriot game on TV2.
Mike Buck with a tremendous fourth quarter last week against the Oilers. Led them to 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns, and they pulled that game out. Right now, he has him 2nd and goal from the 8. 12:28 to go, first quarter of play. Looking for our first score of the game. Dunbar and Muster in the backfield. Dunbar gets the call and busted out to the left side. Gets maybe 2 yards on the play. Bryce Popp over there to bring him down for Green Bay, and Dunbar a little slow to get up. He's grabbing his knee as well.
Nice job that time by Roland Mitchell. Played off the receiver's block very well and came up and made the tackle, limited to a 2-yard gain. Here we're going to see they're going to run to the opposite side of the field this time. They do get around the outside a little bit, but watch the play by Roland Mitchell here, I believe it is, who comes up from his cornerback position, sticks his head in there, brings the runner down for just a 2-yard gain. Nice play that time by Roland Mitchell.
Looks like Sean Dunbar, the ball carrier over there, is brought down. You see where, John, you know, this is one of the reasons probably why Mike Holmgren does not like AstroTurf. Talk about it. You played many, many years.
Well,
I don't know, what's the difference?
Very few players do like to play on this AstroTurf. You get accustomed to it, but you never really learn to appreciate it. Let's take a look at that run one more time here. We'll see if the AstroTurf, in fact, did cause any of the injury. You can see Roland Mitchell with a nice form tackle here, gets his head down low. Looks like he just kind of got rolled up underneath here. His leg did get squeezed a little bit. Hopefully he'll pop up here in just a couple of seconds.
Dunbar is a young man they can ill afford to lose. A former #1 pick last year from Indiana. Led the Saints in rushing his rookie year, 154 carries, 565 on the yardage.
Of course, the Saints pretty much familiar with AstroTurf, playing indoors where they do down in New Orleans. Packers not as accustomed to this, and this is really going to be their first test of the preseason on AstroTurf. New Orleans, on the other hand, they've played, this will be their only outdoor game of the year. They played in Tokyo their first week, and then in the Alamo Dome down in San Antonio, and after this week they go down to the Superdome for a couple of games. So they're accustomed to the AstroTurf, but not this outdoor heat and humidity.
That's right. We're talking to the folks from New Orleans. They said, we're not used to this. Inside, it's always the same temperature. No breeze.
Pity them, right? It's not 70 degrees.
I tell you, it's hot, folks, when the folks from St. Louis, or rather from New Orleans, rather, are sweating a little bit. It's always nice to see Derek Brown checks in now, along with Brad Muster, into that backfield for the Saints on 3rd and goal from the 6. Heavy pressure across the middle, intended for Wainwright. Penalty marker down, incomplete. Leroy Butler there for the Packers. Let's see what happened here, John.
Well, they're going to call him for grabbing him before the ball got there. Let's take a look here. They got a blitz. Leroy comes absolutely scot-free, clean inside. But it looks like Mike did have his arm around him before the ball arrived. The referee right there to make a good call. We'll take one more look. You can see Leroy kind of stalking the play here, and then times up very, very well. Actually, probably one of the reasons that pass not complete was the fact that it was just a little bit overthrown, but they did get Mike for grabbing onto the receiver before the ball did arrive.
So it's Muster, and I believe that's Brown in the backfield. Lined up in a straight eye from 1st and goal in the 1. Second man through is Brown, and he comes up short. Not by much. Pick a man in the middle. Let's give it to Noble. 91 on the stop for the Pack.
That's one of those where as a defensive player and you're going to jump over the top, it's all a matter of timing. We'll take a look here from the end zone. I think it's George Kuntz who goes up and takes a swing at him. Manages to slow him down a little bit, and then he gets a few teammates over there to help him out, bring him down just short of the goal line.
Noble with some penetration as well, about the half-yard line. Brown, now a 4th-round pick from Nebraska, came out a year early.
Right down here, Bill, it's a matter of feel. As a linebacker, you've got to just get a sense of where that ball is going to go and almost start inching that way before the snap.
2nd and goal from the 1, just over 11 minutes. Muster. There's an old combination we've seen, and a penalty marker is down. Muster, the former Bear fullback, comes up short. Maybe a little emotions flying around down there, John.
Yeah, it's like the old Packer-Bear rivalry once again. These guys can't get enough of that. Let's take a look from the ground level. A lot of folks just trying to get penetration down below. Good penetration that time. Sean Patterson in there. Somebody, however, jumped off sides. They're going to give them another couple of inches here. That's all they can give them because the ball is so close to the goal line as it is.
Our referee today is Johnny Greer. Talking it over. You see some wide bodies in that Saints offensive line, although that is one of the problems they've had, John, and the thing they're really trying to work on in the preseason, getting some running.
Yeah, they last week, for instance, against Houston, 401 total yards, 38 yards on the ground. That's been an area of concern for them. They're hoping Brad Muster is going to be part of that answer. Part of it is just better play from their folks up front, however.
Offsides the call against the Packers. Now it's 2nd and goal from about a foot. Again, it's Muster and Derek Brown. I think we might have had a little movement on the part of the Saints in the offensive line. The thing about about this penalty, John. You penalize the Packers, you move it a foot. You penalize the Saints, you go back 5.
Yeah, that's just the way the rules. You know, you get down in that 3-point stance or sometimes 4 in a goal line situation, and you've got so much you're thinking about. Which way is that defensive lineman going to slant? What is my block responsibility? You've got such anxiety to get off on the snap count. A lot of times you're not thinking or not even listening to the snap count. You try and get a little bit of an advantage by getting off before the defensive player is able to react. Sometimes you jump it just a little bit too early.
So they changed their thinking a little bit. They bring in Buckley and Pryor, send out Yurkovich, and I didn't catch the second guy who came out. So it's now 2nd and goal from the 6. 10:28 to go. Still scoreless. They get to Muster, fighting for the goal line. He did not get it. Again. On the stop, Brady there for Green Bay, number 51. For a minute there, Jen, looked like he might have had it.
Yeah, it did. Let's take a look. Brad, with a nice little run here, he finds a little seam, able to cut it back, but a nice play that time by Jeff Brady and company in there, and able to do everything they can. Here comes Jeff just at the last second to keep him out of the end zone. Nice help from the whole defense, really, in that play.
Jim Moore and his staff, a staff that's been together for a long time. The continuity there, very, very important. As we go 3rd and goal, 9:43 to go. Again, it's Muster and Brown. Muster, first back through. The Saints say touchdown, but I've yet to see anyone in a striped uniform, striped jersey saying.
No, the people that matter are saying it's just short, and they were right on it. The ref ran right in from his sideline position to indicate that it did not cross the goal line. So a nice goal line stand thus far by the Packers.
George Kuhn's doing a fine job on the inside, and he may be on the move this next week, John.
Yeah, it's looking like Johnny Holland is going to be good back to practice on Monday, which is great news for the Packers. And, of course, when that happens, they're hoping to move George back to his outside linebacker position where he's probably a little more comfortable. He played there last year and did a nice job for the Packers at that position.
Normally we would see Morton Anderson coming in here, but this is preseason. They're a foot away. They're going to go for it. 4th and goal. 9:06 to go. Some excitement early on from Camp Randall Stadium. Muster again, and he's short. The Packer defense comes up with a great goal line stand, John.
That is an absolute great goal line stand. You know who they ran it at? They ran right at Reggie White. He was up to the task that time. A great lift for the Packers, especially defensively right at this point.
Watch it again. Great penetration there in the middle.
And that's what it's all about. You've got to penetrate. Reggie got William Roach stood up, and then he just had to hang on and hope the other fellows would come. They were able to get some help and keep him out of the end zone.
There you see Reggie collapsing right there, working against Rope. Noble in there to drag him down. Still scoreless. 8:55 to go, and the Packers have to be fired up at this.
Good news. J.D. Power and Associates rank 4 Toyota models among the top 10 models in initial quality. And the good news gets better. It's year-end clearance at Toyota dealers. And that means great deals, even on Camry, the best car built in America. But there's more. Toyota dealers have to make room for 94 models. So get a 93 Corolla, the best Corolla ever, for just $179 a month. So come to your Toyota dealer and see all the good news. But hurry, good news travels fast.
To soar with eagles, be the best. To win the industry's highest awards for quality, commit to excellence. Provide superior quality products and have the strength to offer them at more than 12,500 locations nationwide. More than any other major brand. Discover for yourself the difference quality can make. Fly with the new Superpower.
Introducing the 1993 Miller Genuine Draft Light Indy car. This year, say MGD Light and say no more. How do you order a Miller Genuine Draft Light? The cold filtered light with smooth draft taste and a singles bar?
Give me an MGD Light.
Anyone have change for 20? We'll let him in here. Say MGD Light and say no more.
Well, John, you can look at this where the glass is half full or half empty. Either, 99.5 yards to go, or you're in big trouble.
This would make a lot of records if you were able to take this drive down, or somebody would break one, or throw a pass and have them go the whole distance from this point in the field.
Red 5 with double tights. Give it straight through over left guard. Not much doing there for Edgar Bennett, the fullback. And Brett Favre in the preseason Coming in, he was 14 of 23 for 112 yards. His quarterback ranking 73.1. That's a complex formula, but obviously it's not where Mike Holmgren wants it to be, and he's going to work very, very hard on trying to improve that this week.
He's actually not thrown the ball all that poorly up until that first throw of the game today. His completion rate was pretty good, but otherwise, I think he's had a pretty good offseason or preseason in spite of those fumbles.
8:19 to go here, still scoreless after a great defensive stand. Favre's going to try a quick release here through the middle, complete to his tight end Ingram. Linebackers there, number 51. Is that Sam Mills? I believe it is. It is indeed.
Let's take a look at the blocking up front. In this kind of situation, you're not going to have a lot of deep drop. Brett with just a three-step drop, looks left, doesn't find anybody that way, goes back to Darrell Ingram for the completion there. Ed West will not play today, but Jackie Harris is back after missing last week's game, so they've got one down and one back, so kind of a wash from the tight end position that way.
A spirited battle shaping up as the cut downs loom. 3rd and 4, 7:39 to go. 3 wideouts for Green Bay. Favre flares it out. Incomplete. Marcus Wilson, the intended receiver there, had a pretty good game to finish up against the Chiefs last week.
He showed us a few things last week with his speed to the outside. That time I think he took a peek at the defender who was fast approaching, and unfortunately when he took his eyes off the ball, he wasn't able to catch it. And a ball that should have been caught, it was there, placed nicely. Actually could have probably picked up the first down if he was able to make a move on the defender.
Brian Wagner to do the punting for Green Bay. Sammy Martin back deep to receive it for New Orleans. Be a rush from here, John?
Probably not. You probably just put on a nice return here. It's early in the preseason. You probably haven't worked on a punt rush all that much. At this point in the season, you're probably more apt to work on your returns.
Oh, did he boom this one? He has some trouble handling it. Sammy Martin. And Sammy Martin down at the 42-yard line. That's one of the things the Saints are looking for, a 54-yard punch, just a 6-yard return. And they applaud the effort here for Mr. Wagner. We're still scoreless. It's 0-0 between the Packers and the Saints. 7:18 to go, first quarter of play.
We know how to help you save during the Dodge 93 model clearance. For big performance in a mid-size pickup, choose the Dakota Club Cab 4x4. It features a V6 Magnum engine, AM/FM cassette, air conditioning, plus $26.83 in package savings.
Is this correct?
Absolutely. The factory authorized 93 model clearance. See your nearest Dodge dealer today.
Offers 2 ways to call from anywhere to anywhere.
Goodbye.
At any time. The Ameritech calling card and complete MasterCard. The cards you can always call on. Ameritech, your link to a better life.
I'm Brad Spackless. For news that can help you and your family make a difference for the planet, don't miss my Down to Earth reports on Action 2 News at 5 o'clock.
Brian Wagner came in averaging 39.6 yards on his punt. This one he booms 54 yards, and on the other end, Sammy Martin had some problems with it, John.
Yes, he certainly did, and that's the one area the Saints said that they are desperately in need of a person who can stand back there, catch the ball, and gain some yardage. It looks like they're still looking for that person.
Muster and Derek Brown behind Buck. It's flushed out of the pocket. Now, if he's smart, he just throws it away. Intended for Derek Brown right there, the fullback or the running back. Pop was applying the heat for Green Bay.
And that's the risk of rolling out to your left and being a right-handed quarterback. You've got to throw across your body. He wasn't able to get squared up that time. The result was not a very good throw here. Let's take a look here. Billy Moss with some pretty good pressure inside. A little stunt inside. Sean Patterson coming around, flushes him out of the pocket. Billy right there on time. You could see he was not able to get his body and his shoulder squared around. Not able to deliver much with that throw.
Pop, the leading tackler, coming in here, 13 tackles, 1.5 sacks. Bring up 2nd and 10 now. 7:11 to go, first quarter of play. Give to the second back through. That's Brown. Up to the 40-yard line, and John, you can see all the numbers down there. Tell us what that means with those numbers as Moss comes up with a tackle there. What are all these zeros on the field?
Well, if you're wondering what all those marks out there are, obviously this is a college field with the Badgers playing here and the college markings. You can see the numbers here. They've had to remark those to give the indication that the fields are different. And, of course, the hash marks are different. The NFLs are shorter, and so they've had to put those in on a temporary basis.
4 wideouts now for New Orleans on 3rd and 10. Straight through the middle. Incomplete. Intended for Wesley Carroll, number 80. Good coverage there by the Packers and some heavy heat as well.
Good coverage downfield. He had plenty of time that time. We'll take a look at it from the shotgun position. Buck back in time with plenty of time to look around. He steps up, actually. But nice coverage downfield by the Packers. I believe that was Mike Pryor coming through there and making sure that play was not going to be completed.
Brooks back deep to receive it for Green Bay from Tommy Barnhart. Fair catch being called for at the 24-yard line. And that's where Green Bay will take over. That was a 35-yard effort. Robert Brooks cleanly handles it, and the Packer offense trots onto the field. Seems like they've been moving the ball a whole lot, but no points have been scored so far today, John.
Well, Packers actually picked up about 20 yards in that recent change of possession, which shows you the value of a good punter like Brian Wagner there, who was able to punt the ball downfield and pick up 54 yards on his punt. This time they've got a little room to work with. Let's see what they can do with it.
Again, Brett Favre. Mike said he needed to have some movement. He needed to get things clicking. That first unit needs to click. Winning is not very important, but getting movement out of that first offense is. Stevens, right side. Turns it up, picks up maybe 5 as we see a late flag flying over on the right side. More than likely is going to be a hold from there.
Well, I think we've got a hold, and I think we've got an illegal contact when he's out of bounds there. You can see Coach Moore upset about that last call. I think he's more upset at his player for hitting out of bounds than he was actually the flag being thrown. Packers not able to get the corner that time. They had to hold somebody out there in the corner. I'm not sure exactly who they're going to call it on there, but we're going to take a look here with the official.
Swings it out of bounds. Hold 34, offense. He'll offset. Still first down.
There it is, the offsetting penalties. Personal foul against the Saints, holding against Edgar Bennett on the Packers, so they'll replay first down. How about Jim Mora across the weather, John? Very, very different staff from anything else in the National Football League.
You know, when I was playing a few years ago, I sat in the locker room before the game and looked at their press guide. He didn't have a coach on his staff who had been a former NFL player. Looking through the press guide this year, the same thing. That apparently is not a very big thing to him, but he's got to have players or coaches who at once played this game.
First and 10 from the 25, 6 minutes to go. First quarter, and a big hole. Straight ahead to the 40-yard line goes John Stevens, and that's what he needed to get the timing back for that young man, an extremely talented guy that's just got to get it clicking, John.
Well, that's what they're trying to do. They want to give him enough chances to get the ball, and we're going to take a look here from the end zone. Good blocking up front. Everybody had their man covered. John Stevens, I think, Bill, you could have run the ball through that hole.
I don't know.
John Stevens obviously did a nice job with it for a nice long gain.
How about Harry Galbraith there, number 76, right guard, putting on a nice block there to seal things up there for him.
Well, that's his forte. He's a very, very strong player, a very good run blocker.
15-yard pickup there for Stevens up to the 40-yard line. First and 10, 5:23 to go. Fire. Looking for a second receiver, complete. That's Mark Clayton, number 83, who changed numbers this week. Ricky Jackson on the tackle there for the Saints. I wonder did he have to give anything up there? Look at the shade. What is it? Shades of the guy, John?
Well, he's got the Miami look coming up here in Wisconsin. We'll take a look. Brett Favre going. Sterling not playing today. He's got a little bit of a nick, so he's going to stay out this week. But Mark Clayton making his first start. He's had a nice preseason. They want to get him more into the offense. Obviously, he might become the guy now that Sterling's out of the game.
4-yard pickup for the Hollywood man, number 83, switching jerseys. Last week he's 37. This week he's back to his old Miami, number 83. Favre looking deep again for Clayton. Clayton made his move. The ball was well in the air, John, and it just didn't hook up real well.
Just a timing route. That's what the preseason is all about. Mark was there. He just didn't get his head turned around quite enough. Again, that just takes time. We'll take a look here. I think Brett had to get the ball out of there, too, because he was getting some pretty good pressure. You can see Mark just not quite there yet. That's just a timing thing, and that's why you have these preseason games.
Frank Warren, number 73, the 12-year veteran, applying the heat on a little stunt there. This guy's never missed a game because of injury.
I tell you what, this is a very, very fine defensive unit. These guys were very, very highly ranked last year. Their linebacker core speaks for itself. Last year, all 4 of those guys made the Pro Bowl.
Wilson and Brooks check in as Bennett and Stevens head for the sidelines, and we get a stoppage of play down there, a whistle. Timeout called now by Green Bay, so Favre will come over here and talk things over with the brain trust. The word on Sean Dunbar today is that he has a sprained knee, number 32, for the Saints. He's out of the game today. And John, you know, last week we saw the little problems that Brett Favre and John Stevens had with a handoff. What's the word on that?
The word is it was Brett's fault. We talked to Mike Oldham yesterday, and he said, no, John Stevens had no fault there. That's got to be the quarterback. He's got to deliver the ball. Brett just simply failed to do that on a number of occasions, and he put the whole burden on Brett. He said those guys get a lot of money back there. They've got a lot of things to do, but the one thing that they should do very easily is hand it off, and Brett did not do that last week. Mike assigned the blame squarely on his shoulders.
And quite vocal in that assignment as well.
Well, I guess so. That's one thing he cannot stand. You know, you talk to him about fumbles, and he just grits his teeth, and he squints his eyes a little bit. He says, that is one thing I do not want on this football team.
3rd and 6 from the 44 of the Green Bay Packers. Favre straight back. Straight across the middle. Complete that Sanjay Beach inside the 40-yard line of New Orleans. No penalty markers. They'll move him again.
A wide open throw and catch. A nice throw and catch that time. He really put some stuff on that one. Probably his best throw of the day. Let's take a look here. Brett taking it back. A nice 7-step drop this time. They had to throw it downfield a little bit. Sanjay Beach, it looked like they were running with a zone coverage because he was wide open. Somebody just not able to get to him in that zone. He picks up a first down.
A year ago, Sanjay, the second leading receiver behind Sterling Sharp. Today, a 16-yard pickup on that play, and it's 1st and 10 for the Packers at the 39-yard line. We'll try a little delay play up to the 35-yard line.
You know, we talked about those hash marks and the new markings. That is important. It's probably more important than many people realize, only because a lot of receivers will run their routes based upon where those numbers are. Oftentimes, you'll curl up 2 yards inside the numbers, 3 yards outside the hash, those kinds of things. And even from a defensive standpoint, the linebackers will drop based upon where those numbers and hash marks are located. That's the reason they had to put them in this week. It's not just that they want to make it aesthetically pleasing. It's very, very valuable to a lot of the receivers and defensive players.
Got to be a little overload down there. Lots of marking going on. I'd like to be a paint salesman at Camp Randall today. Favre on a naked bootleg here, feeling the heat intended for Bennett. He took a pretty good shot there. 97, Ronaldo Turnbull applying the heat.
Let's take a look at this rush here. This is a tough play because Brett is blind right at this point. He's hoping that fake is enough to hold the players, but it wasn't in this case. Ronaldo Turnbull in there doing what he's supposed to do, wasn't fooled by the fake, and made a nice play. He's the guy trying to replace Pat Swilling, who went to Detroit in the offseason as a free agent. Right now he's got the inside track for that job, but it's a competitive situation between he and the player behind him.
Turnbull, a former first-round pick in '90s from West Virginia, originally a defensive end who moved to linebacker.
Big, tall kid, good range, good ability. I believe he got the only sack of the game for the Saints last week.
Favre steps up, delivers wide open as Jackie Harris. Down to the 15-yard line, and the Packer offense is clicking right now, John.
And they're giving him just enough time. He had to improvise a little bit that time, but given enough time to make the play and delivered it to Jackie Harris.
20-yard pickup on the play. Look at this. Harris comes open on that seam there. Harris a year ago, 55 catches. Second best for a tight end in the National Football League, down to the 15-yard line.
Right now, Green Bay having some success in the middle of the field, as opposed to a lot of times they'll throw those out to those flare passes. Right now, they're having their most success right down the heart of the field.
Brett Favre, 4 of 8 so far for 44 yards. After that first interception on his first pass, he's looked very, very good. 1st and 10, 2:30 to go. Favre drills it. Oh, and it's going to be a touchdown. Sanjay Beach. A nice juke move, and he's in for 6.
Exactly, and that's, as a cornerback, you live and die out there on your ability to make the tackle. That time, Sanjay Beach, with a nice fake inside, just wheeled around, pivoted, had no one back there to pull him down after that first defender made the whiff.
All of a sudden, the Packer fans are on their feet here. Expected to be some 60,000 strong. We'll look at it again. Just a little hitch move over here, John, and then it's 6.
Yeah, let's take a look at the move here. He fakes him inside just with one small step, and that's enough to juke that cornerback. You know what's another important thing there, Bill? Brett Favre delivered the ball there quickly, which gave him enough time to set it up before the defender could get to him and make the tackle.
They tack on the extra point. And Green Bay takes a big move in front. 7-0 now over the Saints with 2:24 to go. First quarter of play here. And boy, that's one series I think that Brett Favre and all Packer fans, for that matter, needed.
You know when it started? It started with the punt. Out of the end zone, a 54-yard punt. The Packer defense then held. They were able to gain possession, good field possession, able to start that drive of about 70-some yards.
Brett Favre, he, like a couple of guys on the team, battling a little bit of contract battles. You know, we've seen some articles in the paper in the last couple of weeks. Is that something that's bothering him, you think? John, you're a former player. You know what it's all about.
I think it's truthfully, it's an individual basis. I think some players it affects. Some players are able to put it behind them, and it doesn't really bother them whatsoever. Brett has said basically, I want to get it done before the season starts, or I don't want to be bothered with it during the regular season. Right now, it looks like they're not going to probably get it done because of the discrepancy in where they're both at. I mean, Brett's coming in and asking for some big numbers. The Packers aren't quite willing to say he's worth that amount at this point.
75-yard drive, 3:56 off the clock, 8 plays. As John said, it was set up by the fine punt by Brian Wagner. And I'll tell you, this is an important game for a lot of folks. 3 players in particular, if not so much their position on the team, but certainly sentimentally. And one of them has the ball teed up right now, and that's Rich Thompson.
Well, of course, he had some fine games here in his college career. Was an All-Big Ten selection last year. I believe he's the 3rd leading scorer in Wisconsin history. So he's got a lot of fans and a lot of folks probably wishing him a very, very good game today.
Derek Brown and Sammy Martin back deep to receive his kick. And I think emotions came through a bit here because he'll wisely take a knee. Sammy Martin in the end zone. They'll come out at the 20-yard line. Rich Thompson.
I think he was jacked up just a little bit. He had a lot of strength in that one. Of course, that's not unusual. He did that quite a bit in Wisconsin, but very nice to see him do that here for the Packers.
You know, and across the way, Morton Anderson, his counterpart across the way there, that's really a very strong thing for that defense.
It is. It's very nice to come out and know that you're going to be on the 20-yard line as opposed to the 30 or maybe the 35 on occasion. You know, they've got 80 yards to go, which is a long way to march for any offense to do it on a consistent basis.
7-0 Green Bay our score. 2:18 to go, first quarter of play. It's 1st and 10 now for the Saints from their own 20. Give is Brown. Look out, ball's loose, and Green Bay has it. And that's George Coons.
Well, it's good to see some breaks going in the favor of the Green Bay Packers for a change. George Coons out there, the man on the spot that time. I did not see who made the hit to pop the ball loose, but all of a sudden the momentum completely changing in this game. Packers have it right at this point.
George Coons, a former World League player, came in last year just trying to hang on. All of a sudden he's the starter, and right here comes up with a fumble. Let's see if we can pick up what happens, John.
Well, what they call a counter tray here. They get the misdirection a little bit. He basically just runs into his own man. Let's see who takes a look. It looks like Leroy Butler with the shoulder. I'm not sure what he was doing up on the line of scrimmage, but obviously he was there for a good reason and caused the fumble there.
Okay, so it's Green Bay's ball. 1st and 10 from the 13, 2:12 to go. Stevens in the single setback formation. And he gets the call. I'll take it, check it, that is Beach, Sanjay Beach, who just came up with a touchdown.
And this is where you've got to make it hurt. You've got to take advantage of these. Obviously, you can settle for a field goal, and that's good. I mean, you get some points out of the situation, but you really want to make the turnovers hurt. You don't get that many opportunities in the course of the game to impact it in a positive way here. It'd be a big play if the Packers are able to put this in the end zone.
They get it down to the 10-yard line, bring up 2nd and 7, 1:40 to go. The Packers trying to add to their 7-0 lead. 5, 6 of 10 so far, 62 yards. Beach goes in motion. They give it to Stevens. Big hole through the middle. Down to the 6. And again, that banged-up offensive line, so nice to get those guys back together, develop some continuity, John.
Well, they're still missing James Campen, of course, at center, and Ken Rutgers is not there at left tackle, but everybody else is kind of slowly coming back. Joe Sims came back to practice this week. Tunchilkin is looking like he's coming around, so slowly but surely that offensive line, which probably requires more cohesiveness than any other unit, is slowly coming together.
Stevens coming in today, second leading rusher for the Packers, 8 carries, 28 yards, a long of 11. Big third down play, 3rd and 3. We're under a minute to go, first quarter of play from Camp Randall. Stevens goes in motion. Hard looking deep for Jackie Harris, and he can't hit it. He took a shot over there in the wall.
Thought he had it there for a second. He was open. Brett put it there pretty darn well, just off his fingertips, wasn't able to bring it in.
See it again. They rolled Stevens over there and then threw deep the second back there. You see Jackie right there. Jackie Harris on the tip of the fingers. Coverage out there by 39. Brett Maxey, the safety. And right now, Chris Jackie has come on to try to make it a 10-0 Green Bay lead. It'll be a 24-yard attempt. Ryan Wagner will hold it. Off the turf. And it's good. So the Packers capitalize on the fumble, maybe not getting the full boat, but they'll take the 3 and jump out to a 10-0 lead over New Orleans. And what a nice change of pace this is from a week ago, John, when we were on the other end of that.
Exactly, almost a complete opposite. Mike Holmgren has to be more pleased with his offense this time. They've come out and put a couple points on the board early. A nice drive on the series preceding this. Defense has done a nice job, too, and I think it all started defensively back when that goal line stand, when for whatever reason they tried to run at Reggie White. He was up to the task and showed the rookie that he's playing against just what life in the NFL down on the goal line is all about.
So the Packers kickoff team heads out there. You see one of the newcomers there for Green Bay, Chris Crooms, a safety they picked up from the Los Angeles Rams this week.
Get a little more depth back there, and they were very happy with him in coming out of college. They said they liked him a great deal, and then when he went to the Rams, they kept their eye on him, and they've got a scouting system whereby they keep track of those players that they were very high on when they came out of college. If they become available through waivers or through trades, much like this one, they're more than happy to try and pick them up.
Kind of an interesting thing. It's got to be a great, complicated system to keep track of all these guys that they were watching, but they have done a tremendous job, Ron Wolf and his staff. So it's once again Rich Thompson with it teed up, Derek Brown and Sammy Martin. And I'll tell you, maybe it wasn't an emotional burst. He gets it into the end zone, and they'll try a 20-yard line of scrimmage when they come out here on offense one more time. Looking out, the Packers have made some changes along their defensive front. Matt Brock is out there along with Yurkovich, Don Davey, Leroy Smith, the newcomer from Kansas City, as they make some full-scale changes. Terry Crews hustles out as well.
I believe Matt Brock is in the game for the first time, so this will be his first game exposure at that right end position, which is a little bit different from what he's accustomed to. Last couple of years, he's been over on that left side. He says it's not a big thing, although getting down into a stance from that side and the initial charge is a little bit different.
Having lost 20 pounds, a different look to Matt Brock this season. 1st and 10 now from the 20-yard line. 33 seconds to go. First quarter, Green Bay with a 10-0 lead. Great protection. And oh boy, you just can't run, Derek Brown, until you have that football.
And he was wide open. He's going to look at the films on this one and say, oh my goodness, how did I let that happen to me? I had the ball and lots of room to run here. Let's take a look at Matt Brock's first play from scrimmage this time. Just a straight upfield rush. Matt, as we mentioned, dropped about 20 pounds. He looks much thinner than he has in the past, and he's hoping that will help him condition-wise in third and fourth quarters. He'll be much fresher and able to go the distance without fatiguing.
Jim Dombrowski, having signed a contract on late Thursday, is with them but will not play today, the great guard for the Saints. And this one picked off. Hit Corey Harris on the interception, and he's got some running room along the far sideline. Down to the 10-yard line.
And you talk about a confidence booster for a man who could use a little confidence. Here's Corey Harris with his first interception of his career as a professional here. We'll take a look. Mike Buck, not a well-thrown ball. Corey Harris had good coverage, got his head around, and basically threw it right to him. Makes a nice little run back here using those wide receiver skills that he had developed a year ago, and from a kickoff standpoint to bring it back. That's going to be a lot of confidence booster for this young man, though. He's been back there playing very hard. They like what he can do, but until you're out there in game conditions and able to have some success, there's always that question in your mind: am I up to this position change?
Intended out there for Quinn Early. Harris comes up with a big interception down to the 10-yard line. Stevens and Bennett in the backfield. They're split right now. They give it to Bennett, the fullback. Squirts through. Touchdown, Green Bay. Ten yards on a touchdown, Edgar Bennett, and things are clicking right now. It's the Packer offense of a year ago.
They certainly are. And we talked just a couple series ago about the need to make it hurt when you get that turnover down near your goal line. Last time they weren't able to do it. This time they were. Let's take a look. Edgar Bennett here follows his block. Harry Galbraith, I believe it was, with a nice kick-out block that time. Edgar Bennett wisely ran behind him, made a nice move, and then just powered it in for the score.
Boy, and he continues to excel at that fullback position.
He's got a nice little hesitancy about himself, lets his blockers do their work, and then when he needs to explode, he's got that ability to do that as well.
And Jackie tacks on the extra point, and all of a sudden, what a change of fortunes, if you will. The Packers with a 17-0 lead, and we're still in the fourth quarter, 12 seconds to go. And Edgar Bennett's enjoying things down there on the sidelines, John, and well-deserved.
As well he should, as well as this whole team should. You know, they had this whole last week when people were starting to question, is this team as good as everybody's built them up to be? They certainly did not play well the first two games. They lost the game, but more than that, they did not perform well. Mike Holmgren talked about the need to get off to a quick start, and it is obvious they have done that today.
Edgar Bennett, you saw his stats are coming into today, was 4 carries for just 15 yards. And Mike Holmgren, he's a week ago, he's wiping the sweat off his brow because of the problems. Today, it's just the heat.
Yeah, last week he was chomping on that gum a whole lot and not very happy with what he saw out there. This is a whole different performance right now. The offense taking advantage of it. We'll take a look at this touchdown one more time. Take a look at Harry Galbraith, the block that he lays on right there. You can see him knocked down. I believe it was Reginald Turnbull, and then Bennett with the fine cutback move to get it into the end zone.
Boy, credit Rich Moran with a nice block down there as well.
It always takes a couple people. It's never just one block when you're running from 10 yards out into the goal line.
So once again, it's Rich Thompson. Coach Holmgren wanted to make sure he got him in. He said if not, there'd be 8,000 people out there screaming for him to get in. He's gotten in a lot here. It's 17-0. Thompson's the kicking, and it's Derek Brown and Sammy Martin back deep. This one maybe not quite as far. It'll be returned from the 5. Sammy Martin will get up to about the 21-yard line before he's brought down. 17 yards in that return as we have 1 tick left in the clock. Tracy Sanders at the bottom of the heap there for Green Bay, and Thompson heads off. 17 points the Packers have scored in the last 2:24 of the first quarter.
Really, the first couple of scores that they've had all season long by that first unit. They have been without a touchdown for the first couple of games. So obviously another confidence booster for that first offensive unit.
Jim Mora checking things out, wondering what went wrong. Although they had a tremendous rally last week against the Oilers. Sit tight there. Just 1 tick to go here in the first quarter. Quick little draw play to Brown. Brown runs into a couple of the defenders. Patterson over there. So the Packers turn their fortunes around in a hurry. They lead at 17-0 after 1 quarter. We're back for the second quarter after this.
It's been a record-breaking year at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. So how should we bring it to a close? With a record-breaking clearance. Enjoy a selection of Concords, Automobile Magazine's Automobile of the Year, and remarkable savings on all these 93 cars and minivans. Get the value-packed Plymouth Sundance, Air, Automatic, and Standard Driver's Airbag, all for around 10 grand. The record-breaking clearance. Now at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Cheeseburgers I'm grilling are 100% pure beef. The only thing that could be better than one of these is 2 of them. Hardee's Double Cheeseburger.
Right now, Hardee's Double Cheeseburgers are just 99 cents. Why, for just 99 cents, who wouldn't make it a double?
Are you ready for some real food? Hardee's.
This is my baby. I like to tune her myself because then I know the job's done right. People who know that ask my advice on taking care of their cars. And I give them 2 names, Mills Fleet Farm and Fram. Fleet Farm has a huge selection of quality Fram products. Oil and air filters, PCV valves, transmission and fuel filters. And they're always priced right, so you don't have to wait for a sale. So treat your baby right. Use quality Fram products from Mills Fleet Farm.
Okay. Welcome back to Camp Randall Stadium. Bill Jartz and John Anderson with you. You may not recognize that big toe, but as we pull out, you will recognize the big cheese. That is number 92 for Green Bay. And John, what do you see there?
Well, obviously he's not going to be in the game for the rest of the day, I think. Reggie obviously feeling the effects of that first block that he went down on. I thought it was his knee initially. Now it looks like his ankle, and I think he's done for the day, obviously.
Total offense, look at that. 3 times for the Packers what the Saints have. And again, Brown, the ball's loose again. The Saints come up with it this time, however, at the 31-yard line. Heads up play there by one of the wide receivers there. Number 86 is Patrick Newman. Let's see what happened here, John.
Yeah, just some sloppy ball handling this time by the Saints offense. We're going to see Brown take it up. He makes a nice little move, nice cutback behind his block this time. But 99, I think Don Davey in there with his hand and just jarred the ball loose. Fortunately for the Saints, one of his teammates right there to pick it up for him.
This is not like that Saints offense. Generally thought of as a very conservative ball control offense.
That's the way they've made their money over the last couple of years. Take time off the clock, shorten the game, and let that great defense keep you in contention the whole time. This is a little bit of a different look. They're trying to go with the hurry-up offense, and here we've got 3 wideouts on a first down situation.
Again, it's Brown through the middle. Not a whole lot doing there. Just underway second quarter play. The Packers with a 17-0 lead, and Mike Holmgren feeling pretty good about that. We saw Don Davey in that last play. No question about it. A big game for him. The 3rd time back for Don. It's a little bit different now.
Well, he's one of those guys we mentioned before. He's on the bubble. You got to admit that, and he's got to put forth a great effort here because he's not sure if he's going to get many other games to be out here and show his wares.
Davey, a former 3rd-round pick, is Buck just 2 of 10 for 20 yards. Ball on the 33. 2nd and 8. Straight through the middle is wide open. And he'll get up to about the 45-yard line goes Floyd Turner.
Well, we should mention this quarterback situation of the Saints is very unsettled right now. They've got 3 quarterbacks that they're trying to take a look at. Mike Buck, as you mentioned earlier, Bill, probably has the strongest arm of the 3. And he's been hot and cold this year. Thus far, he's had kind of a rough day. He's had a couple of receivers drop balls. In the Tokyo Bowl a couple of weeks ago, he threw 3 interceptions. Last week, he brought the team back from 12 down with just 7 minutes to play. Got them on the board 3 times. So he's kind of been inconsistent thus far in the preseason.
He's just 3 of 6 for 71 yards in 2 pro seasons. Obviously, his arm is well rested. 1st and 10 from the 44. Feeling some pressure. And there's that rule we talked about again, John, last week. Throw it away and save your neck rule.
And I don't know if I can blame the guy. I mean, if they put it on the books, you might as well take full advantage of that rule where you will not be called for intentional grounding. If you're outside the tackle box, you can throw it away, and you just simply go on to the next down. Like Buck having a rough start, 3 of 12 for 32 yards and just 1 interception thus far. He's had better days, I'm sure. He's still got time, though, to bring this one out. We've been told that he will play perhaps a half, perhaps just a quarter and a half. So his time is running down here to show what he can do.
He owns most of the records at Maine. Right now, he'd like to own some Saints records. We see the flags fly. Perhaps one of the Packers offsides as Brown barrels ahead over the right side into Packer territory. Let's check and see what happened there first.
How many quarterbacks are in the NFL from the University of Maine, do you suspect?
Not too many.
The Black Bears. They play some pretty fair hockey up there, but you don't read of too many players in the NFL.
They could maybe bring some of those guys out. Let's see what happened. Who's that moving? Is that Davey?
Yeah, a little too anxious here. Probably got a lot of friends and family in the stands that he wants to make a couple of plays for, but got to wait till the ball is snapped on.
Last week, the Bills jumped out to a big lead, but then the Saints came back and won. Hopefully, that won't happen here today as they try to square things away down on the field. And let's see what our referee is going to tell us here.
Offside, 99, defense. Still 2nd down.
Had a chance to talk to Don Davey, and he said that his first year down here, he was so emotional, he sometimes just forgot what he was doing, and maybe that's a little bit of the case here yet.
Yeah, you get so caught up in the excitement and the anticipation of this game, you get out there, and sometimes you simply forget the plays, you forget your responsibilities. It takes that experience of going through that a few times before you learn how to prepare for a game like this.
2nd and 5 from midfield. They give it to the first man through. That's Mustard down for a 1st down to the 44-yard line of Green Bay. goes muster. You know, John, we talked about this. The Saints played in Tokyo. We've had games in Barcelona and Berlin as we watched the play. Mike Holmgren would like to see his team on one of those trips.
Well, he certainly would. You know, he's done well when he's come to Madison, obviously, but he'd like to take it overseas. And he said he's written to the commissioner. He'd like to get the Packers involved in that somewhere, in England or Berlin or perhaps even Tokyo. The Saints obviously were there a couple weeks ago. They said a good experience over there.
Best thing about that deal, too, John, he said he'd throw us in the back of the plane and we go with him. What a deal. I'm lobbying hard for the Packers to go overseas. Let's go here. 1st and 10 from the 45, 11:54 to go. And again, they keep it on the ground. That was Derek Brown, who's getting a lot of playing time today. Let's take a look at Willie Rope over here working on the right side, the big first-round draft choice. Pretty good movement for a guy that's about 3 bells.
Yeah, it is. You know, they timed him at a 4.82 in the 40. This guy has lots of potential. From Louisiana Tech, so he's obviously happy to be playing for this club in his home area.
He's probably also happy to see Reggie White on the sidelines. Reggie with a very slight sprain of his ankle. They're icing it as a precaution. He could play if necessary. Don't count on it. But great protection, blindsided by Brock.
And you can see it coming all the way from here. You just hope that Buck was going to hang on to the ball long enough for Matt Brock to get there. Matt just kept on coming around that corner and was able to get there. Credit some of the secondary downfield for allowing Buck to hang on to that ball for as long as he had to.
A 7-yard loss. Could the weight loss have something to do maybe with the speed?
Well, he'll probably say so at this point, sure.
So Brock, in his first game as a Packer here this 93 preseason.
You know, if he had come in 20 pounds overweight, he probably would have said the strength allowed him to get there. So,
whatever it takes, right?
That's right.
Talking like a politician, I think, Chad. 3rd and 15, 10:49 to go. The Packers with a 17-0 lead. The ball's at the midfield stripe from the shotgun. Looking deep. And it is complete down to the 15-yard line. 89 is Quinn Early on the reception, and it's a big play, and one of the Packer defenders may be a little nicked up down there, John.
Yeah, he threw that into a crowd. I don't know how that ball got through there. We're going to take a look here. I think George Teague had a shot to either knock it down or intercept it. We'll take one look here. Buck with the ball with a nice tight spiral, but you see George Teague coming from the side that time, just missed it. And you just got to make that play. He's still learning that position. I believe that's Tim Hoke there coming over, and I think he just landed on the foot of the player. Probably just got the wind knocked out of him for a second there.
He took the pins out from Roland Mitchell, who was covering over there. Hoke just knocked the pins out. Then you can't hit your own guy. 1st and 10 from the 14. We're under 10 minutes to go, second quarter, and the Saints putting things together. Buck will pull it and run down to the 5. Randall there to make sure he didn't go anywhere. It's a good confidence drive for this young man who's struggled a bit.
Yeah, they needed that last reception. The Packer defense had been playing very, very well, and it really wasn't a bad play. It just one player failed to make the play, that being George Teague. This time you see Buck really nowhere to go. Good coverage again downfield. Packer secondary doing a nice job today.
Pretty decisive move there for the young man. Not seeing a lot of playing time, as we said. So from the 5 they go, 2nd and 1. Give it to Mustard, and he'll have close to the first down.
Brad, of course, a big banger inside like that for so many years with the Bears. You know, he averaged, Bill, 4.4 yards a carry in his career. So this guy can get some yardage from you from that fullback position. But I always thought he's been an easy target. He's kind of a stand-up runner. He takes a lot of hits, a lot of punishment over the course of his career. But he's been pretty productive, and with his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, Saints felt like they were a guy they wanted to have, especially after Ironhead Hayward took off for the Bears.
You mentioned his catching ability. 34 catches last year, John, 389 yards. And that's one thing they want to take advantage of. 3rd and 1. They've had one big goal line stand. Can they do it again? They give it to Brown. He'll scoot inside, headed for the goal line. He'll not get there, though. It'll bring up 1st and goal on the stop. Terry Crews for the Packers.
Well, this time they went over their young rookie one more time, William Rope. This time he was able to open up a hole a little bit more this time. Give the ball when a back has the ball that deep in the secondary and he's able to pick and choose from the hole, it gives him the advantage. That time he lined up 6 or 7 yards deep, and he's getting the ball 5 or 6 yards deep, which if you've got good vision, you're often able to find those holes much easier.
So the Saints have padded their offensive stats on this drive. They go 1st and goal from the 1. Brown gets the call. He's going to be close. They can roll in a touchdown. So the Saints get on the board here with 7:47 to go. Derek Brown getting the call, and the goose egg's gone.
Once again, I hate to keep going back to this, but I think they want to develop some confidence in their young first-round pick, William Rofe. This time the same thing, running right over his position. He's able to push some people out of the way and clear just enough room for that back to get into the end zone.
Roy Smith there trying to bring him down, but just not enough time. And we're going to get our first look at Morton Anderson of the afternoon. What can you say about this guy that has not been said?
Well, we saw Lowry last week, and this time it's Morton Anderson. That's about as potent a combination you're ever going to find.
And we've got Jackie on our sidelines. That's not too bad. So Anderson tacks on the extra point, and now it's a 10-point game. The Packers leading it now 17-7 over New Orleans. 7:47 to go. Second.
To soar with eagles, be the best. To win the industry's highest awards for quality, commit to excellence. Provide superior quality products and have the strength to offer them at more than 12,500 locations nationwide. More than any other major brand. Discover for yourself the difference quality can make. Fly with the new superpower.
How do you order a Miller Genuine Draft Light, the cold-filtered light with smooth draft taste, in a pool hall? MGD Light? Say MGD Light and say no more. How do you order a Miller Genuine Draft Light, the cold-filtered light with smooth draft taste, at a singles bar?
Give me an MGD Light.
Anyone have change for 20?
We'll let him in here. Say MGD Light and say no more.
Eleanor, how's your daughter doing?
She graduates next spring.
Okay, can we get started again so that we're not here all night?
She'll be after his job soon.
As soon as we can. We will. Now, I think the company's got a pretty fair offer on the table here, people.
I don't know, John.
Look, isn't there anything that we can agree on here?
Other than getting a new coffee machine.
I know one thing.
Warsaw for group health and workers' compensation. One thing employers and employees agree on.
And welcome back to Camp Randall Stadium. Bill Jarts and John Anderson back with you. A 79-yard play, 79-yard drive, 12 plays, and it was 7:14 on the clock. Derek Brown, the 1-yard score, made it 17-7.
Little misleading, I think, though, Bill. You know, the Packer defense was their second defense out there. But, the Saints still had their first offense in there, so they had a nice long drive. Give them credit, but again, you've got to compare apples to apples in this situation. And the Saints had the advantage because they had their frontline players in there.
Morton Anderson has it teed up. The lefty kicker will try to deliver it to Edgar Bennett and Jamie Holland. Holland's done a nice job on the kick returns. Let's see what happens here. And again, here you don't get that opportunity too often with Morton Anderson.
No, he does that routinely down in New Orleans and in Superdome down there. They don't return many because he's just got such a powerful leg.
So while the offense trots onto the field, we'll walk off to a commercial. It's 17-7 Green Bay over New Orleans.
Now you can watch the exciting Green Bay Packers on a new TV from Van Brady's and pay no interest, no down payment, and no payments till February of next year.
Say what?
That's right. Hundreds of TVs are sale priced, and you won't pay a penny until next year.
That's a great deal!
You'll find the latest in Toshiba TVs all on sale, complete with picture-in-picture, surround sound, Toshiba quality, and lots more. No interest, no down payment, and no payments till February of next year, only at Van Brady's.
It ends soon. You've got just 2 more days to get low 2.9 financing on Ford Escort. That's right. For a limited time, America's best-selling small cars got low 2.9% factory financing for 48 months. Choose the 3-door, 4-door, 5-door, wagon, or Sporty Escort GT and get low 2.9% APR financing for 48 months. You won't find a better value anywhere, and you won't find it after Monday. It's 2.9% factory financing on Ford Escort. See your local Ford dealer today.
You can always spot a neighborhood with pride. Maybe it's a little cleaner, a little nicer place to be. All because somebody cared enough to make it that way. Like your neighborhood 76 station. Here, every gasoline is specially formulated to keep your engine clean and running smooth. We're rather proud of that. 76. Go with the spirit.
Are you going crazy waiting to hear more about WBAY's new Packer show? Hang in there. Details are coming up Friday during the Packer-Patriot game on TV2.
Brian Wagner getting a little practice in along the sidelines. Camp Randall Stadium, they're playing the Wisconsin song, and boy, they get him jacked up down here in a hurry when they play that Budweiser song.
We've heard that a few times, and of course, Wisconsin fans looking forward to a big season this year with Barry Alvarez and his crew with a tremendous freshman class, one of the better freshman classes in the country. They started practice just this last week, and I know he's excited about what lies ahead for his team.
Speaking of Barry Alvarez, he'll be our special guest here at halftime up in the booth. We want to thank him for stopping by. He'll be here at halftime. It's Marcus Wilson and Alan Pinkett in the backfield now for Brett Favre. And Favre trying to set up a screen pass to Pinkett. Rich Moran over there in front, but the ball never hooked up there, John.
Well, Brett got a little pressure. He had to unload it and really didn't have even time to turn his head in to find that receiver. Talk a little bit about this linebacker unit for New Orleans, Bill. These guys are just sensational. Perhaps one of the best groups as a foursome to ever play this game. They were all voted to the Pro Bowl a year ago. Of course, Pat Swilling went to Detroit in the offseason this year, but still, Ricky Jackson and Sam Mills and Vaughn Johnson, three linebackers who are as good as you're going to find in this game.
Very experienced. Jackson, 13-year. Mills and Johnson in their 8th. Turnbull's a 4th-year man. Robert Wilson, the carrier there for Green Bay.
And really, Sam Mills is the guy that makes that unit go. He's only 5'9" tall, which is very, very unusual for a middle linebacker. But he's very, very smart, uses his leverage, and keeps that whole defensive unit on one page. And, of course, they've got some pretty good players up front, you know, with Jim Wilkes and Wayne Martin, who had 15 sacks last year. This is a very, very solid unit. They don't take a lot of gambles. They just basically come out, line up, and go at you. And they've been very successful doing that.
The one question mark they have is they're trying to find their replacement for Swilling. They've got Turnbull and Joel Smengi doing the battle there. Smengi set back with an injured ankle, hurt that in like the second day of practice.
And that's hurt his ability to compete. He's hoping to get in today a little bit, but he's still nursing that ankle a little bit.
3rd and 11 now, 6:51 to go. The Packers with a 10-point lead. Plenty of time. Through the middle and incomplete. Intended for Sean Collins, number 38, the pickup last week. How much time did he have here, John? Great job of the offensive line.
Yeah, very, very nice job, Brett. And credit Brett Favre, too, for staying in his pocket. He didn't have a receiver that broke open, but rather than pull it down, he stuck in there, delivered it. And Sean Collins just not able to make the catch. He should have had that one, and it might have been enough for a first down.
So Favre heads for the sideline. Meantime, Brian Wagner heads out to punt. He had a sore leg probably after last week. He did a lot of kicking.
Yeah, they don't want to use him that much this season, obviously.
Cook is back deep to receive the punt. Excuse me, check it out, Sammy Martin. Sammy Martin standing at the 35-yard line. Not a good punt at all. Lands up around midfield and then takes a Packer bounce, and they'll whistle it dead right on one of those zeros, John, you talked about, the 41-yard line. And we're a 39-yard punt there, but got a nice little roll, friendly roll.
And usually on this AstroTurf, you're going to find that even if you do have a bad punt, you're able to get a nice little roll. Didn't really happen in that situation, however. We'll be back in just a minute.
Good news. J.D. Power & Associates ranked Toyota best compact pickup in initial quality. It gets better. It's year-end clearance at your Toyota dealers. That means great deals on a top-quality pickup that you can lease or buy and save even more with factory-to-dealer incentives. For even bigger news, how about the bigger T100, ranked best full-size pickup in initial quality. And with incentives, you can save big time. So come to your Toyota dealer and see all the good news. But hurry, good news travels fast.
In real football, you had to keep an eye out for the goalpost. Now the Wisconsin Lottery is bringing that back with the scratch game first down. Add them up, get 10 or more yards, and win the prize. Or look for the goalpost in the 4th down to win up to $500 instantly. First down. It's going to be a big hit. On sale now.
New Reach. The aerial reach connection is ready for another great football season. Last year, our lineup was tough. This year, we've got double the power, double the strength to do double the work. Join the New Reach team, the industry leaders in lift equipment for rentals, sales, service, and parts. Give New Reach a call. New Reach carries top-of-the-line equipment, and the New Reach team services all makes and models either in the field or in our shop. Get pumped up. Call New Reach, serving all of northeast and central Wisconsin and Michigan's UP.
Well, not perhaps the best of performances there by Brian Wagner. You see anything here, John?
Well, it's just it's cutting fine lines between a good punt and a bad punt. It did look like it did come off the side of his foot that time. Punters back there, it's much like a golf swing, Bill. I mean, sometimes you think you're in that groove, you're doing everything the same way, but for whatever reason, sometimes they go off into the woods, sometimes they go right down the middle of the fairway.
You had to bring up golf, didn't you? Steve Walsh, number 4, in at quarterback now for the Saints. 1st and 10 now from the 40-yard line. 6:32 to go. The Packers with a 17-7 lead. They give it to their second back through, and he gets some pretty good running room up there. That's Derek Brown, number 24. Again, he's been the workhorse for him so far today.
They've again got their first line in there, and again, not going with a huddle. This is unusual for these New Orleans Saints. They're generally a grinded out, use up the clock kind of offense. I don't know if this is a specific game plan today that they're just using that, or if this is something that they intend to use in the future.
I didn't think this thing was a sellout, John. I thought you could still get a ticket, but I guess some folks will go to any extreme to watch a Packer preseason game. We want to welcome all of you for tuning in right now. 2nd and 4 from the 47. Steve Walsh, the quarterback, flares it over here. Lorenzo Neal on the carry.
Lorenzo Neal on reception. Corey Harris welcoming him and learning a little bit about what corner play is all about when you've got to come up and make a tackle in his zone coverage. And we're going to see that one more time. You're going to see Corey really didn't make up some ground here. You let the ball carrier come to him, which is not what you're going to want to do when he feels a little more comfortable with that situation. He's got a full head of steam. You can see Corey really just content to sit and let him come at the defender. Hopefully in time he'll be able to come up and be a little more aggressive on that play.
They move the chains. Walsh looking to head downfield, and he hooks up. Down at the 36-yard line, that's Hobie Brenner. No, excuse me, 86 is Patrick Newman. 11-yard pickup on that play for the Saints. They'll come right back. Again, no huddle, and their offense seems to be building momentum now, John.
They feel like they've kind of found themselves here, and again, they've got the first unit against many of the Packer second unit in front line and linebackers.
From the 35, 4:50 to go. First half of play from Camp Randall. That's an automatic. Brown, left side again, good running room, slips a tackler, now he's in the open field, and he could go in all the way. Harris the man to beat, he heads for the flag. Touchdown, New Orleans. 35 yards and a tremendous run by Derek Brown.
And it was really set up by blocking on the line of scrimmage. He did some of it himself by making a couple players miss, but I think we're going to have to rerun this here and show you just some of the great blocking that occurred at the line of scrimmage. And again, I hate to keep coming back to that, but that's a matter of number 1 versus number 2. Let's take a look at some of the blocking up front here. You can see him cut back behind the line here. Then he's through the line of scrimmage, and now we got a missed tackle right here. We're going to have another one right here. That you just simply cannot have, regardless of who's running at you. George Teague with a bad pursuit angle, and Derek Brown off to the races here.
Derek Brown today, what an afternoon. 10 carries, 60 yards, and 2 touchdowns already. So they started slowly, and they've built momentum. Morton Anderson comes on, tacks on the extra point. And now all of a sudden that 17-0 lead has become 17-14. 4:30 to go. First half here from Camp Randall.
We know how to help you save during the Dodge 93 model clearance. For big performance in a mid-size pickup, choose the Dakota Club Cab 4x4. It features a V6 Magnum engine, AM/FM cassette, air conditioning, plus $26.83 in package savings.
Is this correct?
Absolutely. The factory authorized 93 model clearance. See your nearest Dodge dealer today.
Wicks Lumber is your deck and garage headquarters. Wicks project professionals will provide assistance with designs, estimates, know-how, and delivery. Our computer graphics system makes designing your new deck into reality. Customized to reflect your lifestyle and your budget. Is a new garage in your plans? If so, just share your ideas with us, and together we'll design a garage custom fit to suit your needs. Stop in and see us today. We're the professional shop. Wicks Lumber in Green Bay, Appleton, Greenville, and Forest Junction.
John Stan of Northeast Photocopy said, "Cellulink service has saved the day every day for Northeast Photocopy." According to Mary Vandenberg of Insurance Services Incorporated, no one can duplicate the cellular service from Cellulink. Jim Hayes, President CEO of Hayes Manufacturing, said, "We signed with Cellulink because of their reputation. Guaranteed cellular service, personal communications, Cellulink." It's your call.
Have you ever wished for a new Packers show that would make you sit up and beg for more? Start begging. Details are coming up Friday during the Packer-Patriot game on TV2.
A 35-yard touchdown run by Derek Brown makes it 17-14. John, some missed tackles here.
Missed tackles, but more importantly up front, nobody's getting off of blocks. They're being occupied, and then when the player does get through the line of scrimmage, we have a couple of missed tackles. Tim Houck here, Carl Carter the first one, and George Teague just takes a poor pursuit angle. You see him right there. He realizes he's beat at this point. Derek Brown with some nice cutback ability, and this game is all of a sudden very, very close now.
So it's Rich Andrews has the ball teed up now from the 35-yard line. Back deep to receive it for the Packers. It's Edgar Bennett and Jamie Holland. Bennett takes a knee in the end zone. They'll start from the 20-yard line.
And you can sense that the momentum has changed again. It was all Green Bay in that first quarter. Now the Saints have come back. They've recaptured the momentum, even though they're down a little bit. They have got the momentum on their side. Now it's like a chess match. Now it's Green Bay's turn to come back out and to establish something, if not a score, certainly a long drive to give their defense some rest.
Again, Coach Holmgren saying he did not care if they won or lost. Obviously, he wants to win every time, but he wants to get matchups. He wants things to look good, and he's still staying with Brett Favre.
He said he'd play him a whole half, and I thought for a while there with a 17-0 lead, he might give him an early exit, but that's not going to be the case.
Pinkett and Robert Wilson in the backfield now as Wilson shifts over a man. First and 10 from the 20. Right through goes Alan Pinkett up to the 29-yard line. Pinkett a year ago with the Saints.
A little payback, perhaps. He was spent all of last year with the Saints, but on IR. Did not get into a game. We'll take one more look. Let's take a look at the lead block, if we can see it, by Robert Wilson. He's going to carry or follow through. He does enough just to get the outside linebacker pushed out, and that was enough for Alan Pinkett to get a nice gain out of the play.
Tunch Ilkin now in it. Right tackle, right offensive tackle. If we can get a look at his hands, he has an interesting way of taping his hands. And we'll talk about that. We'll get a nice tight shot. You see him number 79 there at the bottom of your screen. A 9-yard pickup. Pinkett again with some running room. Nice job of the young man up to the 39-yard line.
They want to see what he can do. He's been a little bit of a mystery. Hasn't had a lot of playing time thus far in the preseason. Obviously a good history of running ability with the teams that he's been on, but they've got to get him in the action and see what he can do.
Tunch Ilkin, Tunch as in punch to his teammates, Colin. And what he does is he came into the league, they used to wear those Everlast leather gloves, and then they kind of got away from that. What he does is he tapes those pads up. You see the pads there. He protects the foot of his inner hand, if you will, because he's punching people with that. And he says his hands are his tools as an offensive lineman. He wants protection. Pinkett again the call. Not much doing this time on the left side, however.
You know, those linemen oftentimes will use those hands to punch in a pass protection situation. They will set back a yard or two off the ball, and when the defensive lineman then comes on the rush, they will punch, and you've got to punch at the right time, or you will whiff, and that defender will be right around you. That's why the tape is there, for a little extra support. And Tunch, you know, he's had some injury problems. He's dislocated a right elbow and dislocated a left elbow in his career. Those have got to be awful painful. I've never done it, but I can only imagine what a dislocated elbow feels like.
One of the free agents they brought in from the Steelers. Favre drills it. Jackie Harris, the tight end, complete at the 43-yard line. Jimmy Spencer there covering for the Saints. Jackie Harris, well, they have big plans for this kid.
Well, you know, it's been said before, but Mike thought he was about 5 catches short of being in the Pro Bowl last year. He's having a nice day today. Wasn't able to play last week because of an eye problem. He woke up Saturday morning and his eye was swollen for whatever reason, and he had the day off that week, and so this week he's back, and hopefully we'll have a nice game here.
The first quarter took an hour. The second one only 25 minutes. We've reached the 2-minute warning. It's 17-14. Packers in front. 2 minutes to go. First half of play from Camp Randall.
Boy, am I hungry.
I've got just the stuff for you. Perkins' new stuffed pita sandwiches. You can have a chicken fajita stuffed pita sandwich with grilled chicken, cheese, and salsa.
I'm really hungry.
And fries and slaw. Or a grilled steak stuffed pita with hollandaise.
Steak, yes.
Guess you really like that steak stuffed pita. How about some pie?
I'm stuffed. What kind?
New stuffed pita sandwiches. Perkins, breakfast, dinner, and everything in between.
Oh yeah, yes she
genuine draft. For those who've discovered its smooth draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
It's been a record-breaking year at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. So how should we bring it to a close? With a record-breaking clearance. Enjoy a selection of Concords, Automobile Magazine's Automobile of the Year, and remarkable savings on all these 93 cars and minivans. Get Plymouth Acclaim, the lowest-priced 6-passenger car in America, with air and automatic. Save around $2,600. The record-breaking clearance. Now at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
John, the fans are doing the wave here. I think that's just out of necessity. They're trying to get some air moving around. This is getting a little warm in here.
Anything to get a little breeze going. In fact, I wish they'd do a little more often, blow it up this way.
I agree. Hey, listen to this. We just found out they've taken like a half dozen fans out because of heat exhaustion. And those guys right there are doing the most to keep their cool.
They've got to take care of themselves. You know, it's not something to be messing around with. Of course, the players down there, they've got all the ice and Gatorade and fans to blow on them. But these fans out here are a little bit left unprotected. 17-14, the Packers with a lead. 2 minutes to go. They're in their own territory at the 43-yard line. Barr feels the heat, and down he goes. That's Ronaldo Turnbull there. The youngster Turnbull trying to grab down that outside linebacker spot left by Pat Swilling. Just an outside rush, came right around the corner that time. We're going to go isolation here. Well, not isolation. We'll see him coming from your right-hand side of the screen here. Brett, not sure where the rush is going to come from. And when he does get a feel for it, it's too late.
Working against Dan Fike there, the newcomer for Green Bay. Came in from Cleveland, who can play just about anywhere. And again, it's Wagner going to punt to Sammy Martin. A minute and a half to go. First half of play. The Packers with a 3-point lead. Kind of a line drive wobbly kick, although it's going to get a Green Bay bounce. Look at that spiral there, John, at the end. Martin grabs it, gets up to the 30-yard line, and that's where they'll start it. On offense. We talked about offensive line play, a 44-yard punt, a 5-yard return. The Packers might see a familiar face back this week, John.
Well, they're hoping to get Tootie Robbins back in early next week, and of course that would be welcome news from that standpoint that they are awfully banged up. Of course, Tootie was with the New Orleans Saints earlier this year, went there in the offseason as a free agent and signed a 3-year contract, but they let him go just a week or so ago, and Green Bay hoping to get him back into camp because they really enjoyed what he did for them a year ago.
Tootie, seen in Green Bay Thursday night. A friend of mine saw him. Said he is large, very large. 1:17 to go. Ball at the 30-yard line. 1st and 10. We'll probably see the hurry-up offense. Walsh. Good protection, and he'll go deep. Complete up near the midfield stripe to Patrick Newman. Again, not 18-yard pickup there, not something you typically see out of New Orleans.
No, Jeff Brady really that time vacated his responsibility, kind of bit for a receiver up, and they just basically threw it behind him. We'll take a look at the widescreen here.
3-man rush for Green Bay, and the ball is tipped incomplete. Dalton Hilliard, the intended receiver there.
Here's where that heat and humidity kind of comes up and grabs you a little bit. Neither team really has a chance to go back and catch your breath in between snaps, and even though there's just about a minute and a half or a minute to play here, this is the kind of time when you really need to reach down and get whatever's left before halftime.
It is much, much warmer down on that field, John. That turf is basically they're playing on asphalt.
It is. It just absorbs heat. In fact, sometimes your feet really begin to overheat. You've got that rubber soling, and that heat just comes right up through those things and can cause a lot of blisters if it's not taped properly.
And it's a fresh paint job on there right now. They'll just scrape up their hands and their elbows and their knees. A pop applying the pressure. Ho, ho, ho. Come on there, Dalton Hilliard. That's not something a veteran should do.
No, it was kind of came out a little bit quick that time. Hit him right in the face mask. I don't think he was quite expecting it to be quite that quick. Packers with a nice stunt. That's why they were able to break somebody clean like that. And he had to get rid of it in a hurry. Kind of a high toss. Dalton should have caught that, but it did come in an awful bit of hurry.
Former Pro Bowl player who in his 8th year right now, a little nicked up there. Trails only George Rogers in the all-time Saints rushing department. But they're bringing some youngsters along. McAfee in now for, rather, they brought him up and hope to start him today, Fred McAfee, but he's been a little nicked up there. They're resting him as the markers fly, and a bad ball there thrown by Mr. Walsh, and let's check things out.
Yeah, it looked like the Packers got a little anxious up front again, and that's something you don't want. A 3rd and 10 is a whole lot better to defend than a 3rd and 5 situation, which I think it's going to become.
Offsides against the Packers.
Offside. Defense. Still 3rd down.
And Matt Brock, he got lighter, but he couldn't get that weight back in time. Again, just a little bit over-anxious and playing his first game. You just can't have that in this situation. And Matt will hear about that in the film session.
He's lighter, just not shorter, right? Okay, here we go. 88 degrees and 67% humidity right now. 46 seconds to go. First and 10 from the 48. Walsh going to take it up top deep over Buckley. And Buckley with a pretty good defensive play there. Intended it there for Quinn Early, 89.
Well, credit Terrell in that play. He was stride for stride, got his head turned around. We're going to take another look at it here, going right down the sidelines. Take a look from the end zone here. Walsh really not looking off anybody. He knew he wanted to go with this ball before the ball was even snapped. We're going to see Terrell with nice coverage this time, able to tip the ball out of bounds for an incompletion.
Once again, you see Walsh testing that arm. Buck with his greatest arm strength, but this one pretty much right on the money. Just great defensive play by Terrell Buckley. And the Saints forced to punt. Brooks back deep to punt, and it's Barnhart in now to take care of the chores for the Saints with just 40 seconds to go here in the first half of play. Nice high spiral. Brooks falls for a fair catch and grabs it at the 12-yard line, and that's where the Packers will have it. One last go-round here in the first half. A 34-yard punt for Tommy Barnhart. They're pretty set at their special teams department. As you said, John, really, I guess on punt returns, their only real vacancy, if you will.
They've got two of the best kickers in the league in Barnhart and Morton Anderson. Barnhart a 42-yard lifetime average, so this guy's a consistent kicker. And, of course, Morton Anderson, his record speaks for itself as well.
The Saints this year playing without Bobby Hebert, who decided to go somewhere else.
He couldn't get it done, and the Saints weren't going to wait around for him. You know, he held out, I think it was back in '90, and they didn't want to get in that situation caught without a quarterback, so he went to Atlanta. They signed Wade Wilson kind of in return. Wade Wilson coming from Atlanta in this last offseason.
So it's first and 10 from the 13, just 32 ticks to go, and they give it to Pinkett, and he'll go to the left side for a couple of yards. Pinkett's been a pretty good workout sore. That's his fourth carry of the afternoon now. He, one of those players trying to make an impression, to hang tight, because this, Mike Holmgren said, they're going to probably make a cut at offensive line, wide receiver, and running back this week.
They've just got too many people at that position, and they need to get the numbers down where they can take a more concentrated look at the players that they have remaining.
Pinkett's got to be happy with what's happened here. The fans are as well. The Packers move on in front, show some tremendous signs of turning things around, and as we go to the halftime festivities here, it's 17-14, the Packers over the Saints. We're coming back, hopefully, with Barry Alvarez in just a few minutes.
How's she doing?
Sounds worse to me.
Are you sure?
Maybe we're overreacting.
Yeah. What does the manual say?
Not enough. Honey, support her head.
You think we should call somebody? My mother?
I know who.
Wausau Group Health. When you have questions, our registered nurses have answers.
To soar with eagles, be the best. To win the industry's highest awards for quality, commit to excellence. Provide superior quality products and have the strength to offer them at more than 12,500 locations nationwide. More than any other major brand. Discover for yourself the difference quality can make. Fly with the new Superpower.
In real football, you had to keep an eye out for the goalpost. Now the Wisconsin Lottery is bringing that back with the scratch game first down. Add them up, get 10 or more yards, and win the prize. Or look for the goalpost in the fourth down to win up to $500 instantly. First down, it's going to be a big hit. On sale now.
The beauty, the craftsmanship, the affordability, all add up to real value, and all belong to Pella Windows. A lot of people think they can't afford Pella windows and doors. Think again. With 3 distinct lines, Pella has a window to fit every design, at a price that fits into every budget. With value like that, you can't afford not to use Pella.
And welcome back to Camp Randall Stadium. Our score, the Packers 17, the Saints 14. And, John, so far, Green Bay looked really good in the beginning, and then it's been New Orleans ball in the recent.
Well, I think Mike got what he wanted out of the first quarter, especially. The offense moved the ball. The defense came up with a couple of big stops. They got some breaks from a turnover standpoint, and they put some points on the board. They took a nice 17-0 lead. Saints then came back and established some momentum, but that was really, again, the number one offense from the Saints against the number two defense for the Packers, so you've got to keep that in consideration as well.
Obviously, Brett Favre made amends for some of the things that happened last week, I think.
Well, except for his first throw. For whatever reason, he threw it right at Vaughn Johnson, and it looked like here we go again kind of thing. But that showed me a lot, that they were able to come back and take the ball down the next series, get it into position and score, and that really provided them with some momentum for the rest of the game.
A little bit of a scare there in the first half anyway. If you just tuned it in, Reggie White all of a sudden down on the field, and your heart had to skip a beat.
Yeah, it certainly did. It looked ugly from this vantage point. He got cut by one of the tight ends, and fortunately he was down just for a couple of seconds and then popped up, had a few words to say about the people in the offensive huddle of the New Orleans Saints, something to the effect that I don't like what you did to me, but fortunately he's back. Probably won't play, had some ice on his ankle, but good to see him up and walking around.
I don't think he and Frank Wainwright are going to maybe have dinner tonight.
Well, there's another time in November that the Packers have to go down to New Orleans. Maybe we'll have a little rematch at that point.
Okay, the Packers with a 17-14 lead. We're at halftime here at Camp Randall Stadium. We're back with more in a minute.
Get the latest update on Packer Camp from the coach himself. Watch the Mike Holmgren Show, Monday night at 6:30 on TV2.
It ends soon. You've got just 2 more days to get low 2.9 financing on Ford Escort. That's right. For a limited time, America's best-selling small cars got low 2.9% factory financing for 48 months. Choose the 3-door, 4-door, 5-door, wagon, or Sporty Escort GT and get low 2.9% APR financing for 48 months. You won't find a better value anywhere, and you won't find it after Monday. It's 2.9% factory financing on Ford Escort. See your local Ford dealer today.
Action 2 News and ABC's World News Tonight, weeknights at 5 o'clock.
Green Bay Packer football is brought to you in part by Van Vrides Appliances, Electronics and Furniture, with locations in Appleton, Little Chute, and Green Bay. Your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers. Cellulink, your personal communications company. The GMC Truck Professionals. See your dealer now for great year-end clearance values. Today's KFC, they do chicken right. The new Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation. Call Pizza Hut in Green Bay for carry-out, dine-in, or delivery. And don't forget to stop and smell the pizza. Your local 76 dealers who invite you to go with the spirit of 76. Wicks Lumber Company. When you build with Wicks, you build with the best. Hardee's, are you ready for some real food? And by Mills Fleet Farm.
And welcome back to Camp Randall. It's an all Big Ten booth right now. Michigan's John Anderson, Bill Jartz from Northwestern, and our very special guest, Barry Alvarez, head coach of Wisconsin. Coach, thanks so much for stopping by. You know, we have so much excitement going on in Green Bay, and things are hooping up down here as well.
Well, we've had a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of interest shown in our program, as well as the Packer program, and I think football in general in the state. And we're anxious to get started, and this is a great kickoff for us, is to open it up with this game.
What can you tell us about some of these freshmen? You've had them now for about a week. Are they what you hope they'd be?
Well, I think they're excellent prospects, and we haven't put pads on them yet, and things will change when the big guys show up today, and they have to mingle with them, and we'll see when we throw a little bit more in and how they mix and how they adapt with this group. But as far as prospects and guys that can run fast, and we couldn't be more pleased. They've lived up to our expectations of them in every respect of the way.
What about that quarterback situation? Has that given you more reason to stay up at night, or are you sleeping well thinking about that situation?
I feel good about our quarterback situation. I know, John, you don't know if our guy can get the job done for us, but I feel real confident with Darrell Bevel and the people behind him. We're in a much better situation now than we have been in the past. Bevel was just a freshman a year ago and hadn't done anything physically for 2 years. And to come in, start 10 games, win 5, put us in position to win all 10. He's improved his strength, his conditioning. He's 20 pounds heavier right now. His arm strength is better. He's intelligent. He's got game experience. And one of the few Big Ten quarterbacks that are returning.
Sure. Coach, don't tell him too much. I think he's scouting for Michigan here. But what about your schedule this year?
I feel good about our schedule. We open with a Reno team that many people don't know much about. But it's an excellent football team and an excellent program. They will have as good a skilled players, wide out secondary running backs as we'll see other than when we play Michigan. They've got a tradition of that, and they played in bowl games the last several years. Probably had the best bowl game of all last year when Bowling Green came from behind and beat them. So that'll be a tough opener for us. I like our non-conference schedule. We don't play Penn State or Iowa. I think it's sad that we're not playing Iowa. We play Michigan and Ohio State at home, back-to-back, which is fine. And we're going to end up with Michigan State in Japan, which is an excellent game for our program.
You talk about Penn State coming into the Big Ten for the first time this year. What about expansion down the road? Do you see it going to 12 or possibly 14 in a couple of years?
I think that's the natural procedure, the natural trend right now. I think so much is done for TV exposure, TV sets, bowl alignments, and so on and so forth. By adding Penn State, that gives us about a third of the TV sets in the country occupied by Big Ten football teams. So that allowed us to lock up 4 excellent bowl games. Get an ESPN contract and get an ABC contract. I think it's natural that we would maybe add another team or 2 down the road and maybe have a couple divisions and have a playoff for the Rose Bowl.
Bowl expectations here in Madison. Coach Barry Alvarez, thanks so much for stopping by. Best of luck to you this season.
Guys.
We're at Camp Randall Stadium with the Packers leading 17-14. We're coming back with second half action right after this.
It's been a record-breaking year at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. So how should we bring it to a close? With a record-breaking clearance. Enjoy a selection of Concords, Automobile Magazine's Automobile of the Year, and remarkable savings on all these 93 cars and minivans. Choose Plymouth Voyager or Grand Voyager. Get options like leather seating, anti-lock brakes, and child seat, and save thousands. The record-breaking clearance. Now at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
I'm grilling are 100% pure beef. The only thing that could be better than one of these is 2 of them. Hardee's double cheeseburger.
Right now, Hardee's double cheeseburgers are just 99 cents. Why, for just 99 cents, who wouldn't make it a double?
Are you ready for some real food? Hardee's.
They look like angels playing there together. It's an unpredictable world, and I always wonder, what if something happened? Tomorrow they'll be driving 12 hours to visit their grandma. I had a cellular phone installed in the car. Affordable personal communications from Cellulink. I just want them to be safe.
Kids want their own look. It's part of who they are. And for kids, clothes are just the beginning. To them, book bags and things aren't a necessity. They're style. Fortunately, there's a place that not only has the looks, it has everything to complete the look. All at prices that look pretty good, too. That place is Shopko. Discover for yourself.
And welcome back to Camp Randall Stadium. Once again, our score, Green Bay leading at 17-14. That's what the scoreboard says. John, what does the statistical board tell us?
Well, statistically, Green Bay did not come out very well, actually, but they do have 17 points, which is the most important thing. A little disconcerting because the Packers had so much offense in the first quarter. They had about 100 of that 125 yards in the first quarter. Second quarter, they didn't really able to get much going. 1 turnover as opposed to 2 for the Saints. That's always a big stat. And, of course, penalties. The Packers had 4 penalties, which is never going to help you, and especially when you're from a defensive standpoint, which the Packers had a couple defensive penalties, which are really unnecessary at any time.
And a typical statistic there for the Saints as well, just 1 penalty. They are a very disciplined team. That a result of the coaching of Jim Mora. We're being entertained here at halftime by the V.J. Andrews Marching Band from Tinley Park, Illinois. That, of course, not the Wisconsin Marching Band. Or if they start playing that Budweiser song, they'll be welcomed very, very much here at Camp Randall. Let's recap the scoring for you, John. It's 17-14 Packers in the halftime mark here. The Packers open it up with Sanjay Beach with a 15-yard TD pass from Brett Favre to make it 7-0 Green Bay. 2:24 to go first quarter play. Chris Jackie came back with a 24-yard field goal. That's set up by a big play by one of the linebackers.
Yeah, George Kuntz with a fumble recovery there, and Packers not able to get the 7 out of it, but you certainly want to go away with more than turning the ball back over, and they were able to come away with a field goal.
The first quarter lasted about an hour down here, and just before it ended, Edgar Bennett pumped it in from 10 yards out to make it 17-0. Again, it's set up by a fine defensive play.
And anytime you get turnovers and make them hurt, they're generally going to help you out in the long run. Packers able to do that with 10 points in the first half as a result of coming up with turnovers.
Corey Harris's interception set up that run by Bennett. Then it was New Orleans' turn, and Derek Brown's name's been called on their touchdown plays. A 1-yard run for Brown. The Anderson kick made it 17-7. They closed it to our halftime score 17-14 when Brown went in from 35 yards out, and really just a number of bad tackles there allowing him to get in.
Some missed tackles, some poor play up front allowed that long run. He's had a nice half, though, Derek Brown has. 10 attempts, 60 yards, 2 touchdowns. So for a man who wasn't going to get a lot of playing time coming into this game, he's certainly shown very, very well.
Brett Favre in the first half, 7 of 14, 67 yards, 1 touchdown, and his first pass was intercepted. He was sacked one time for 7 yards as a loss.
I thought Sanjay Beach had a nice first half. He caught the ball well. He moved pretty well after the catch. 3 receptions, 34 yards, and, of course, 1 nice score. And that's nice to see Sanjay Beach coming up with a big game. Of course, we mentioned at the top, Sterling Sharp will not play today, which is going to make it very, very important for some of these other receivers who will not get a lot of opportunity to play once Sterling gets back in the lineup to show what they can do.
The game plan now for Mike Holmgren wants to get a lot of work in for Ken O'Brien.
And he certainly is going to get that chance here in the second half. We may or may not see Detmer or Brunell late in the game, depending upon how Mike's feeling, the game goes, and so forth. But Kenny O'Brien's going to get a good look here, and he needs to, again, have a nice performance. I don't know that he is necessarily a lock at that number 2 position with the improved play of those young quarterbacks.
That is kind of a surprise there, because I think coming into camp, Favre and O'Brien were thought as the locks. They'd fight it out for number 3, but maybe not the situation.
Well, that's what tradition tells you, that you should have an experienced man as a backup, and I still feel that that's the case. Kenny O'Brien hasn't done anything to get people upset about his play. He's been very consistent, but hasn't had a great performance either from that standpoint. So it's going to be important for him to come out and to move this offense. Probably he'll be up against the second defense of the Saints, and I don't know if he'll run with the first offensive line yet or not. We'll have to wait and see.
O'Brien, part of that great class of '83, all those fantastic quarterbacks. You look at his year last year with the Jets, very limited action.
Well, he was 1-2 with Joe Namath in many, many stats from the Jets. He's been there for many, many years, and he will go down in the history books as one of the finest players of the Jets in their history. But now it's another year. He's got to perform well out here in order to continue his NFL career.
And he's one of those big quarterbacks, too. 6'4", 212, 5th-round pick they got him for this year. And Mike Holmgren said last night he wants to look at it.
And he's an honest player. I asked him a couple of weeks ago, I said, do you really like this training camp? Do you enjoy coming back? He said, not a chance. I hate this training camp. It's boring. It's monotonous. But he realizes it's something that you've got to do because that's just the way NFL football is.
Holland and Pinkett back deep to receive the kick of Rich Andrews here for the Saints. Again, if you're just joining us, it's 17-14. Packers over the Jets. We're just getting ready to kick off the third quarter, and we are underway. It's going to be a short kick. And Holland's going to have some trouble with it. The ball's loose on the turf around the 18-yard line. And he's been doing a pretty good job back there in special teams, but that time, I don't know. Sun, I don't believe a factor on that, John.
No, certainly wasn't. We can't talk about that. In fact, the sun was at his back, so that should have been no factor at all. Here we see Morton Anderson kind of got under the ball a little bit. Jamie Holland had to come up and receive the ball a little bit on the run here, but still no excuse for dropping that ball. He probably took a look at the people coming up because he did have to run a shuffle a little bit. But you've just got to cover that up and get on it when that hit situation occurs.
So it's 1st and 10 from the 16. O'Brien at quarterback, and he's going to have the starting backfield behind him. Edgar Bennett at fullback. The running back is John Stevens. They'll give it to Stevens. Nice hole, right side. Up to about the 24-yard line goes John Stevens. O'Brien coming in today was 10 of 24 for 131 yards. 1 interception, no touchdowns. Quarterback rating not real good. 42.2.
John Stevens having a nice game so far. 4 rushes, 31 yards. He's picked his holes well, I think, and he's running awful hard, too, from that tailback position.
So they got